One and one make two, two and one make three. It's our destiny. Once every 100,000 years or so,
All right.
when the sun doth shine and the moon doth glow.
I believe we're here. What's up,
Oh yeah, I can hear
folks?
myself.
How's everybody doing today? Kuro the artist here with my good old buddy friendo Palo Jamboree Doodah Dippity Day friendo mine, Mr. OR Ash. I'm fake this way. There we go.
Is that my official title?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, spelling that on the tax forms is a bitch, but we make it
Oh
happen.
God, we need 3 boxes just for my name.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
But hello, everyone. Welcome to Lizards.
Welcome to Lizards. Let me see if I can get this to... There we go. All right, now it's looking like... Man, okay, I can't seem to look at... Oh, you know what? I'll just put it on the other window. I'm trying to get the chat open, but whenever I do, it makes your camera go away. But there, I think I solved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got an Ambion breakdown right here. If y'all are a fan of our main channel videos, you might have seen the Ben 10 breakdowns. We're going to be going through our Ambion finale in the breakdown format, just watching through it, pausing for little anecdotes of like Easter eggs, behind the scenes stuff, concepts that may have not made it in or changed as we went along. Y'all are free to jump in and ask questions as you'd like. We've done this 2 times before. Both times were Patreon only. But this time, since it's the finale, we're doing it live. So enjoy. And we might do this for the other couple of episodes in the future. But for now, thank you all for coming. How you feeling today, Mr. OR, buddy, whatever I said?
Well, I've got a big old cup of caffeine, so I'm doing good.
I just finished mine. I had a chai latte with extra espresso.
I had half a cup of milk with, oh God, what does this can say?
What does it
Cafe
say?
Olé. Cafe Olé by HEB. The Nitro Cold Brew Coffee. Vanilla Latte. Not sponsored. Give me money.
Give him money. Give
I
him
can't
money,
be
folks.
funny when I'm tired and caffeinated.
It's all good.
Sorry.
No, I'm honestly surprised we're doing this right now, but we're already
Yeah.
we're in it. We're in it. Here we are.
I'm very excited. I'm very excited. I'm glad people were liking this episode so much. I haven't seen a single negative comment on it on the video, so I thank you guys for enjoying. This was a lot.
People actually said they don't like the character of Horus. They want him recasted.
If they don't like his character, what do you mean recast? Like change the character entirely, or change
Yeah,
my
in
casting
in
of him?
universe, we were thinking of just having like a white square just in the middle of the screen, just flashing different symbols in Morse code. What do you think?
Every now and then you hear it go beep, and that's about it.
Yeah. And we'll give him an afro. Just thanks.
Oh, Fro's stepping in on the game. Okay, I got you, man.
Awesome. So before we go in, we did have a little poll, which if you voted in it, thank you. We just wanted to run down the top 10 episodes of And Beyond. As season 1 is done and over, we wanted to know what are your favorites. So it looks like, well, we had like a little over 2,000 votes total. So thank you all who contributed to that. Y'all are the real OGs. And we'll probably have more polls in the future. So if you want your voice to be heard, if you want to contribute to our data collection so that we can track down your identity, please allow us to infect all of your technology with malware and vote in our polls. So
What?
in 10th place, we have the episode with 41 votes as your favorite. By the way, just a preface. The poll was, what is your favorite episode of And Beyond? So the lower the episode, that doesn't mean it was a bad episode. That just means it wasn't people's favorite.
Yeah.
Which is great. So, but what's crazy is every episode had at least 40 votes minimum. So that means every episode is somebody's favorite out there, which is really nice. Like no episode didn't get a vote. Yeah. So every episode is somebody's favorite. And 41 people said their favorite was Arabella, one of the most recent episodes, which I felt like was the baseline And Beyond formula
Style.
perfected. Yeah. Like by then we got a handle on. We wanted to just do a simple And Beyond again without the overarching plot. We also felt like that was kind of in demand too. We've had some feedback about how the ambience were getting a little too complicated, so we did Jet Ray to just be like, here you go, back to square one. And it is the least favorite episode, so I guess
So we know where to go.
yeah, maybe we'll keep the plots then.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean we're definitely gonna do more simpler episodes in the future. Like not every
Oh,
episode can be
100.
like Zanelli, but I mean it's interesting. Like people actually do like the way it's progressing, or at least like majority rules,
Mhm.
whatever. In ninth place, with 46 favorites, is the Ghost Zone. I'm actually very happy it didn't get completely dead last.
Same here. I'm
Yeah,
gonna be 100% honest. I thought it was gonna get dead last,
I
just
was
because
too.
everything else is Ben 10, and it's the one non-Ben 10. So
Right.
like,
Yeah.
I was worried. I'm very happy that it by 5 votes it is not dead
No,
last.
100%. Yeah, because I was like, I don't think it's a bad episode at all. In fact, it was the first one I really like got
Mhm.
involved with because Humongousaur and Methanos, I just let you do whatever you wanted to do with,
Mhm.
and that's still the general vibe. But the Ghost Zone was the first one I actually contributed a little bit more to. I even did animation for it. So it's special to me, and I'm glad that 46 of y'all out there say it's your favorite episode. So y'all the real ones out there, good shit.
Is it because Beerus is in it? Is that why?
Yes, yeah, 100, yeah. When
No, I
in
love that.
53 votes in eighth place is Methanos, the second episode ever made.
Hmm.
Um, you know, I get it, pretty basic, but again, still good. Just not everyone's favorite, but still
Yeah,
55 votes.
I I rewatched some of the old episodes because my niece came over and was wanting to watch the finale, but hadn't seen all the rest of it.
Hmm.
Um, I rewatched Methanos, and I was like, I can see why this is a bit lower. We didn't have a lot of like moving parts on screen and not a lot of different visual changes at the time. So I get it. I get it.
Yeah, I it was episode two. So uh, Au- Terradino, which was episode one, is next with 55. I feel like that's like obviously because it was episode one, but that's where we really like understood what Ambion was gonna be. Because originally you just sent me Horus as a PNG, and you wanted to do the video in the same style as the Atomics video, except like with
Hmm.
more notes and everything. And I think that's right
Yeah.
around the time where Hershey hooked us up with Epidemic Sound, and I was just like, what if I tried to make him move and like actually put him on like a space background, and we treated this like a real documentary.
Hmm.
And I'm surprised it worked as well as it did because the episode wasn't written or the assets weren't drawn to
Oh
be
yeah,
used as intricately as we ended up doing.
that's
So
true.
once you saw that, you were like, okay, now I'm gonna do this on purpose, and that's what Methanos
Yeah.
was. And we've just been evolving since then.
Yeah.
Uh, then with 191 votes, we have at least on this list the first pretty intricate one. It's Kilmus with Big Chill's kids. Um, this was another one I really liked because
I do love this one
yeah,
too.
Big Chill's kids are great. I just love them. We got to work with a lot of great people. We worked with
Hmm.
I think like four or five different actors,
Hmm.
which was nice. So that's a good one. So with a quite a jump, 284 votes was Krypton and Vegeta.
That
Um,
okay, yeah, no, that's a definite
yeah,
what's the word? Fan service episode.
right, yeah.
Like people when I say I knew nothing about Superman and Dragon Ball Z before making that episode. I did research for like 6 months straight before
Hmm.
even writing the episode. And I did that so that people would enjoy it. And it was met with quite a bit of controversy, but I believe now from looking at comments that it's gotten to like a settling point where people, I mean obviously based off the votes, people really like it, and that I'm very happy about that.
Yeah, I feel like the biggest controversy just came from the fact is, well, why does Ben not have a Kryptonian anymore? And it's because we
You're
hate our
hidden away,
fans.
we have Lord.
Yeah,
I just don't want Ben to have so many transformations where it's just a guy. Like,
yeah. Like It's fine. Like, Ben doesn't need a Kryptonian. Like, who cares?
Doesn't.
307 votes. Ledger Domain, another banger.
Oh yes,
Yeah, we already broke that down. So that's third place, which is pretty great. Krypton and Vegeta was third place for a while, but Ledger Domain just overtook it in the last second. And for good reason. That was a big one. That was a hefty one. That's the first time we ever held open auditions for characters.
That's true. I forgot we did that.
Yeah. Every voice actor we've ever worked with, we either hunted down ourselves or we were linked through Kellen. But with Ledger Domain, we were just like, hey, put the ad on Twitter. Let's see what happens. And it worked out.
Yeah, no. We got like, what, 1,500 responses, I think?
Oh, yeah. We were sitting there for like, I think it took us a good 6 hours over 2 days, like 3 hours each to listen to everybody. And the people we chose, I remember Joy was like, honestly, like the 6th or 7th person we listened to. Because when we got like a really solid audition, we put it off to the side. And then hours upon hours went by, and I couldn't get Joy out of my mind. I was like, she's too good. We got to use her.
She was very good.
And on the flip side, Sam was one of the last people we listened to because we were struggling because we were having like we found like 5 or 6 good charm casters, and then we were just like, we gotta decide, like, is it even worth listening to anymore? And we were like, let's listen to some more. I think we did end up listening to every single one of them just because we were like, you might as well. And thank God we did.
We had to be thorough.
Yeah, because we were so tired of listening to everybody, but we heard Sam's and we were like, nope, that's it. Like, I'm glad. Yeah, so you never know. Listen to every audition, folks. If you ask for them, you never know when you're gonna find the right one. In second place is this episode with 497. Yeah, Lizard World.
Dude, the fact that we put up this poll like the day after this episode came out, it's still so shocking to me that it got second place.
I know.
Oh my god.
Like, people they really liked it, and I'm happy, honestly. Like, that's dope. This one, it was like, it's as complicated as like Anur and Ledger Domain and even Kilmus, but because we did all of those already, it was easier for us to figure out. So it was less about like, what do we have to pull out of our ass this time, and more about, do we really want to do this again? And we were like, yeah, sure, let's just do it again. That's fine. Yeah.
No, it was just so much.
Yeah. And then in first place with 744 votes, who could have seen this coming? It's Anur. Of course it is.
Yeah. The spooky system.
The spook
Halloween wins every time, baby. Trick or treat.
Did you have that ready?
This is my regular mug that I have all the time.
Oh, man.
I love Halloween. My hat rack is a skull. I have a skeleton hand for a leg of my desk.
I mean, I still think it's a phenomenal episode, but I'm surprised it still holds up as like people's number one, because it's a little dated. Like, it still uses the old Horus model. I still wasn't that great at audio balancing. Like, you can tell based on the first couple episodes, it's definitely an improvement, but it's still like, I feel like in terms of audio balancing, Zanelli came out the best. But just, I don't know, there's certain parts about it that's still pretty
a little choppy.
Yeah, it's pretty rough, but I mean, it's enough for people to still put above everything else. So, it's just a good episode. Yeah.
I especially the fact that we've never gotten to see comments on the inner system because of how it was marked.
Right?
Like, it makes it so much more like, holy crap, people actually really like it. The fact that it like won this vote out. It's just, and like substantially too. It's like 300-ish votes above second place, which is like the biggest gap out of all of them, I think.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And it's the first time we ever worked with Paxton too. We didn't tell anybody anything. That was like, it's not only the first time we ever started the And Beyond plot line with like animated characters and lip flaps and all that. We didn't advertise it that way either. We completely blindsided people by throwing that in there. I don't think they knew what they were in for. So that was yeah, that was very fun to me. We were just like, oh yeah, by the way, we're animating characters now.
Oh my god,
And
dude! Plus, with this episode, we were gonna release it. I can't. Oh god, time is an illusion.
like,
Nothing makes sense. I can't
yeah,
remember what year it came out, but we were gonna release it. But then, like, I still had 2 sections left to do, and we didn't want to rush it, so we gave it an entire additional year, um, after I'd already been working on it for a couple of months. So, like, I really got to like knuckle down and put a lot of work and a lot of heart into that episode, and I oh god, especially because we got to the stage of editing, and then you, Mr. the artist, were like, "How many aliens are in this system?" I was like, "There's 9." I couldn't think of a 10th. We're in a call right now. Let's bust out another alien, make it a whole playlist. And I was like, "Where am I gonna put this? All the planets are full. We'll just pick another one. It's fine." And that's where the sonar aquid came from.
right.
Stick and slide. We just were in a call for like 2 hours and made a new alien.
Yep, worth it honestly, because
Honestly, yes.
he became pretty favorable and pretty memorable. Little Sonar Aquid. He's even one of the aliens that Big Ben fuses with in 5YL. So like, you know,
That's true.
he got taken pretty far. Yeah.
Oh,
So yeah, I mean, I couldn't resist. Although this one, on the flip side, the 10 aliens in this was your idea, which I thought was nuts.
well, no. Wait a second. No. Wait. I don't remember this being my idea. Are you sure it was my idea?
I am
'Cause
sure
don't
because
remember that.
you've been suggesting Zanelli since around the Ghost Zone. That's why we
It's because
teased.
people have. People, Zanelli happened because you kept spamming it in the comments of the videos.
Yeah, but 10 lizards. That did not come from me.
If it was from me, that was from a past iteration of me that I don't remember.
Yeah, you're like, it's future Ryan's problem. He'll figure it out.
No, oh god, past Ryan is gonna get slapped in the face.
You're gonna have a memory of like sometime like last year, a portal's gonna open up and a hand smacks you, and you're gonna be like, "What was that?"
Just like, oh, that's what happened. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be laying in bed tonight and then suddenly remember the thought of it and be like, God damn it.
You're like, I get it now. All right,
Oh,
you ready to dive right in?
Oh, let's go. Let's
All right, here we
get
go.
it. I'm so excited.
Yep. So Ambion breakdown. We're gonna try to not pause this too much, but you know how it be. You know how we do.
It's a breakdown.
Yeah, it's a breakdown. So here we go. So actually, I already want to already pause it. Just to be clear, this is the same Horus from Methanos and Sonararcia.
Sonararcia.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I consider not. I consider just trying to animate the old one and not like upgrading the new one, but it wouldn't have worked.
Not at all.
So disregarding the art style change, like yeah, what did you say? A Celestial Sapien sneezed?
Yeah, that was the joke. I was like, yeah, no, it's Celestial. In real production wise, we just got better at doing things.
Yep.
So we took the better quality over continuity. So like, sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's say a Celestial Sapien sneezed at some point, and that's why it looks like this now.
Right. So this is the first reoccurring Horus. All the others have died at the end, right?
Yes.
Well,
this is the only reoccurring one. Yes.
Yeah. And you can see he's got a burn from the Zolbrine goo on Methanos, and his antenna has been fried from the lightning bolt on Sonarosia. And then having to figure out how to do this whole thing, I was just looking at a whole bunch of old ambions and trying to like remember how I did this. And it's annoying, and I hate Horus. Sorry.
Oh, I hate him too. We can hate him together.
Yeah,
He's a
man.
child.
Hey, you know what? Fuck Horus.
Where's my plushie? I need to throw it against the wall.
God.
No, but I will say, because Rob is the one that does the main animation of Horus in this. You did phenomenal in this episode.
Thank you.
Like all the little twitches, glitches, and stuff looks so good.
I appreciate that. One of these days I'll explain how I animate Horus. Because, like, there's a lot of tiny things to do with him. Like, the fact that, like, his body and arms move. If he didn't do that, he would look so still. But, like, it's so subtle, you don't even really notice it. So he floats, his body moves, and his arm moves. So those are 3 different renders.
Jostle.
Yeah. But let's dive on in.
Why does this keep happening? Run system diagnostic. Oh, great. A broken portal projector and communications are down.
So a lot of the glitches that he does are just in post-editing. Sometimes Ryan really does voice act the glitches. But
fun.
yeah, but in this one, I wasn't sure where I wanted to sprinkle them in. So a lot of them are artificial and pitch changes and stuff. And these all link up to different things about him. So some of the stuff we don't want to just immediately point out. There's some details in and beyond we want to wait and see if people piece them together.
Yes.
But I mean, y'all pretty much figured this out already, so I will talk about it. But the things I haven't seen people talk about yet, I'm not going to bring up. You can see the existential inhibitor was compromised, which was also shown in Ledger Domain. I saw some people figured that out day one, and everything else is just a reference to something that happened before. So, you know, continuity. Unknown remnant particles. Okay, yeah. You know, good luck.
Can't even contact the plumbers for help.
Oh, it's lagging, sorry.
Plumbers for help. Oh, that's Nelly. That tourist trap is bound to have a communication system I could use. And I might as well catalog the planet while I'm there. It is my job after all.
Horus can't resist
Hi, Taurus.
cataloging.
Yeah. He's just like us, man. He's addicted to the work.
Oh god, he is our child. Oh no.
Taurus folds out. By the way, every time Horus has to change his body position, I always try to morph him a little bit so it looks more natural in motion, but it's always tricky. But
That's true.
one thing that sucks though is like see how his each individual tentacle moves when he's facing forward. When he's facing any other way, it doesn't.
It doesn't move.
Yeah. But I don't think it's super noticeable. So whatever.
Alright, Taurus, get into place. Good evening, extranet and
Oh,
multidimensional
which
travelers.
that is meant to be going off of the detail that we showed in Aeropella, is that for the intros and outros, Taurus is actually recording Horus.
Yeah.
Like he's acting as a cameraman.
And now we're back to the regular and beyond, which by the way, I did hear you bring this up in one of your streams. And Beyond does have a theme song. It's only been changed twice, in the Anur and the Magic one, but every other episode it's the same song.
It's the sax. I just for some reason I never realized it whenever I was watching them.
It's
I was
not
like, oh,
it's
yeah.
not a very emphasized song. It's a very ambient song.
Mhm.
Let me see if I could find the name for it. I know I have it. In fact, I was surprised that I was able to find the name for it the first time. It's in my files. All I have to do is go here and then go here, then go here, and then go here. And it's called Numb Limb Lips by
What?
the 129ers. Yeah, it's called, I'm going to type it in the chat. Numb Limb Lips by
hell?
the 129ers. I was thinking maybe for season 2 we'll commission like an original song, but for now
I
it just
would like
it just
that.
works. It's like I love this song.
It's a good song.
Yeah.
Oh, I will say I saw a question from the real sewer gremlin.
The real
Scroll
one.
back up.
Wow.
Yeah, the real one.
Okay.
Can't he use Taurus to contact the plumbers or something? Taurus's antenna aren't broken. The way that I imagine Horus and Taurus are set up is that Taurus is literally just a relay that connects to Horus himself. So like the antenna just goes back to Horus, and that's how it like saves the footage and stuff to him in
Right.
general.
He's like a
not able to
webcam.
contact out. He literally is just a wireless camera.
Yeah, like when you unplug a webcam from a computer, it's not gonna still work.
Exactly.
And he's barely sentient.
Welcome back to And Beyond, where we plunge into the void and explore our ever-expanding multiverse. Welcome back to And Beyond, where we plunge into
Froze, sorry.
ever-expanding multiverse. I am your host, the R300 Orion IT Systems Model VO4.
That's one you do voice act.
yeah.
Yeah.
That, which actually, a fun little thing. When I voice act for Horus in general, that is the phrase I use to get into character and to make sure I sound correct.
Mm-hmm.
So it's I am the R300 Orion IT Systems Model VO4, but you can call me Horus.
Yeah. Oops.
Oh, God damn it.
But you can call me Horus. Today we'll be exploring the paradise planet of Znelli.
Planet Zanelli has partnered.
All fit outfits. Okay.
Yeah. This
Now
is a
we
very
get-
late addition to the episode.
This was okay, so I'm just gonna admit the entire concept of all fit outfits is me being on my nitpicky bullshit again. Because
About how they can all wear like tropical shirts and stuff.
because you started drawing the aliens, and I think it was the Shock Squatch one or something where you were like, does it make sense for him to wear this? And we eventually came to the conclusion we don't care, but because of who we are and the reputation we have, we're notable for
explain it.
people that do care. So we can't just not say anything. So I was like, what if we came up with this explanation where like they just have these clothes on Zanelli for tourists, like they're just there. And then it started snowballing. We were like, okay, now we have an answer when people ask. Are we just going to have to answer this question forever? We have to say it in the episode somewhere. Maybe we'll find an excuse for Horse to say a line. And then we were like, no, when would he ever talk about this without derailing it? And then you have to draw more art assets.
Yes.
Because you were already drawing all this. So I was like, you know what? Let's just make a commercial, a fake commercial. I will draw all the assets so you don't have to worry about it. I'm just gonna write the script and you have to approve. Because I didn't want to put more work on you, so I was just like, I'll draw it all. And originally we were gonna get WN, the voice actor for
Air
Air
to
to
Go's
Go,
ad.
yeah,
Yeah.
to do it. But then I was thinking, I was like, you know what? If I somehow finish this now, we can release it now, and it can be an advertisement for the episode. And I just did not want to wait. Even WN, who's pretty quick, like it still would have taken at least a day or two. And then Ryan and I, our voices fill in for basically everything. So it's just like we've exhausted our range. So we're like,
Yes.
we need a unique voice, but someone who can do it literally right now. So I turned to my left. Yvonne was chilling watching. I don't remember something. And I was like, hey, do you want to voice a character in And Beyond? And she was like, she was down. Honestly, she fills in for a lot of random things that I've needed in different projects. Like I have another video coming out on this channel later about how she also just randomly filled in for a role that I needed in a live action project I was doing. It's the same scenario. We needed somebody, and she was the only one who could do it. So thank you, Yvonne, for filling in. So she was voicing the outfits, and it was very like, I was like, you got to give me the most Old Navy commercial voice you can.
Oh,
so
God. The accuracy of that,
Yeah.
that description.
yeah, I was like, we're just going to do it line by line, and we'll get each line before you move on to the next. Don't do it all in one take. Let's make sure we get each line. And she did a couple of takes, and I was just like, you got to sound more annoying. Like,
You gotta sound like you're smiling
yeah,
permanently.
like the way,
Planet Zanelli.
at least for me, and I feel like not every, but some voice actors can relate, is you always sound like 50% less emotional than you think you do.
Yes.
So in your head, if you think you sound like you're way overdoing it, the performance is probably just right. In your head, if you think you're doing it just right, it's probably not enough. Or at least that's the rule I usually go to. So I was just like, you have to like every line, like Planet Zanelli, and it'll come out great. And you know what? It literally sounds exactly like what we were looking for. It is the perfect like Old Navy commercial voice.
Someone in chat said, "Can you sound really chipper but also really bored at the same time?"
Planet
Yeah, like
Zanelli.
that.
Yeah, no, so she really knocked it out of the park. We got it done in like 20 minutes or less, and it was super easy to edit. So yeah, we made this whole thing in like a day or two. just to have the excuse to put aliens in human-looking vacation clothes and not have to worry about the scientific explanation. That's all. That's the whole reason we did this.
We wanted to have fun, and we had to explain it.
Yeah.
So, yes. As for how Horus can even get the signal for this, don't worry about it, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't, because his antenna's busted. We even lampshading it. We were like, how does...
It was literally just a joke.
Yeah,
Like,
that was the wall we hit. We were like, well, how does he actually see the commercial? And at that point, we were like, I don't care.
who cares?
Yeah. He's close enough to the planet where he can receive planetary signals, but he can't reach out to the plumbers in different galaxies. There you go. Boom, science.
There you go.
Paired with
Yeah,
a Louisville
science.
pond to bring you all fit
Louisville Pond.
you all fit outfits. Did you plan a last-minute vacation with nothing to wear? Maybe your planet's culture lacks the right clothes for relaxing climates? Or do you just want to dress up for fun? Well, with All Fits, we have a fashionable line of tourist attire for everyone. Thanks to advanced micro-adaptive fiber optic threads embedded in our trademark comfortable fabric texture, finding a funky fit for you will never be easier. Say goodbye to planning out your wardrobe, because with reasonable prices and multiple shops located...
Oh yeah, I had you draw this planet shot. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I drew the planet shot early so we could make this ad. I will like to say though, because I've noticed it rewatching multiple times, you have the little pinpoints as a set thing.
Yep.
But the planet rotates.
Yep.
So like, do the shops move? Also, a detail that I saw one stickler in the comments. They said, "Doesn't Snelly have no axis tilt? Why is it turning like that?"
just to have motion, because if it didn't do this, it would look
I know.
No, I'm telling them. Like if the planet seems like it's rotating, it's not. Like, it's literally just me lying to you visually. If it wasn't doing this and it was static on screen, it would look bad. That's it.
Fair.
There has to be some motion, or else you're literally just looking at a still. Like the stars too. Are we implying that the planet's like hurtling through fucking space at like billions of miles an hour? No. But if you
It
were,
always is though.
yeah, I mean, but you wouldn't see the stars move like this. So like,
No,
if it was just the stars and the planet, like realistically, you would be looking at a still image for like 25 seconds, and that would suck. That's it. And then these are
fill every shot.
little god logos. We'll get into that soon. Actually, did you intentionally make the volcano also that shape?
Yes.
Okay, awesome.
Which
yeah.
I'll get into the detail of that later.
Yeah, we'll get there.
located all over the planet. Just fly on down and get everything you...
And this was inspired by all of those postcards and stuff. Well,
Yes.
I don't know. I don't even know if younger generations know about postcards at all. Like,
Oh God, yeah. Instagram kind of took that over.
yeah, or even just emailing
Back in
and
that day,
yeah.
we
If you
used to have
traveled,
shit.
yeah. And to prove you went somewhere and to check up on your loved ones wherever you were, you'd have a postcard there, and it would usually be designed to look like a significant representation of wherever you were, and you'd mail it back home with like a lovely note. Now you would just like FaceTime them via like, boom, look, I'm in Paris, and that's it. And then it's not special anymore. You ruined that connection. Thank you,
Now
Steve
you have
Jobs.
to have a picture of you in front of the Eiffel Tower,
Yeah.
leaning against it like every other tourist.
There are people born into this world where iPhones already exist. That's
I don't
nuts.
look, Rob. Existentialism is at the end of the episode.
Right.
not
Sorry.
now, okay?
Sorry. Right.
I will say though, I do love the welcome to Snelly, a climate for every vacation.
That I just
love
pulled
that
out of my
line.
ass. I was like, we got to have a
so
slogan.
good.
I didn't even care what it was. I was
so
like,
good.
it looks like visually there needs to be some words here to make the logo
Mm-hmm.
look symmetrical. So let's put something there. Yeah.
Thing you need right here on Zanelli. If you're tiny,
Oh shit.
gigantic,
Kuro Skull is
aquatic,
canon now.
Yup.
electric, have 23 limbs, or no limbs at all, you can count on All Fits to cater to each and every creature in the galaxy.
And these, you didn't even
All
tell me
Fits
you were
out-
doing the sexy shots.
Oh yeah, because like at this point, this was actually, these three were the last additions because I didn't draw anything for this line. I was just like, I don't want to be sitting there looking at this for like 5 seconds because,
Right.
you know, so I just drew these three things. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I'm surprised so many people felt the need to shout this out because like to me, like this shit doesn't matter. Like, why can't an alien be sexy? Like, does it really matter? No, come on. I liked this one a lot though because it's hard to draw
That one is
armadillo.
really good.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, so all fit outfits where every size fits all. Good stuff. That's like a legit commercial. You know, if we ever get tired of doing this shit, let's just become a marketing agency or not agency, but like, you know, people that produce.
I mean, that's fair.
We're
man.
good. This is legit. I'm proud of it.
I am too.
Fits all.
My antenna's broken. How did that even... Whatever. Moving on.
Whatever.
Please keep all
He
appendages
doesn't care.
inside the portal at all times, and remember, do not party with lizards unless you're ready to get slizzard.
All right, one more
Okay.
pause.
Yeah, no, the Slizzard thing, we tried so hard to work that line in the entire episode, and we couldn't. And then we did the recording for the intro last, and I was like, oh, coming up with a joke in the intro is always the hardest part. And we went back and forth for like 20 minutes. And
Yep.
then Rob was like, wait, we could do the G6 thing.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, there's a song out there called Like a G6. And one of the first couple of the lines is getting slizzard. And I don't know why, but for like months, this entire production, Ryan and I would just keep making slizzard jokes to each other. I'm pretty sure we even titled like a Patreon stream "Getting Slizzard with the Lizards" or something.
Yes.
We were just,
Indeed.
it just amused us so much. I even did an Ambion promo where we used the song. I wanted to use it in the episode, but copyright. But we
Of
just,
course.
yeah. So I actually looked it up. Completely
What does it
irrelevantly.
actually mean?
Getting slizzard is when you mix together an alcoholic drink with cough syrup. Yeah,
I mean,
getting slizzard, baby.
God.
Horace is not a role model.
don't party with lizards
Unless you're ready to get slizzard, baby!
Oh my
Episode 10!
season finale.
Although, to be fair, that was just the first result on Google when I looked it up. So, I mean, maybe it's not officially that, but that's what I'm going
I mean,
with.
that's
Yeah.
probably what it means, though.
All right, getting slizzard, baby.
Yeah.
Getting slizzard. Snelly, the most vivacious planet of its system. On its surface, it is a multicultural paradise, featuring a diverse set of biomes all commingling in a seemingly perfect homeostasis. Due to the planet having no axis tilt, these biomes retain their climate stability year-round, making for one of the universe's
Round.
most reliable and beautiful vacation spots. Snelly is home to 10 notable subspecies of...
Yo,
I
by
do
the
love
way,
this little graphic you made.
yeah, this was another case of just like, we're looking at the planet too long. Something needs to happen. I try not to let too much time go by without something happening on screen. So I was like, I'm just going to do this and it'll look cool. But this took me like an hour. Well,
Oh gosh.
maybe 20 minutes. It felt like an hour though. So yeah, you can see all 10 lizards. One thing I do love about this episode is that we didn't go the route of just like forcing the elemental themes with the lizards, because I feel like, oh, there's polar mandrills, ice, and if there's other mandrills, it's gotta be elements. We're gonna have a lightning lizard, we're gonna have a fire lizard, we're gonna have an earthbending lizard, and it's like,
I want to fucking make a statement here. I 100% going into this episode did not want to make an electric lizard. I was like, look, I love the electric aliens, but I'm not adding to that problem that there's too many. Like,
yeah, right.
I don't want more of them. It's fine.
I-
It's whatever.
I think making them more rooted in their climates than just being like, there's a freaking Avatar style lizard species out there. I think this was, it's not only more unique, it's more interesting. Like, this is the route to go. Bravo, Ryan. Good shit.
Thank you. I like being pseudoscience-y, so like
Yeah.
I just thought that fit the best.
Yeah.
Of reptiles known as Manzardil. These collective species are named after their planet-wide shared belief system, believing that each of
Also, some folks may have noticed that Manzardil is sometimes spelled differently. Good luck figuring out why. Adwecha might know, though.
their peoples were created in the image of one of the various forms their multi-elemental lizard god Manzardil will take. With 10 species, we do have a lot of info to collect, but we should have some fun along the way.
I love that zoom in shot. Okay,
Thank you.
can I just say your zoom in shots have gotten so much more impressive. Too.
Thank you.
Because like before, it would just be like a rushing color or whatever going into the planet. But now, like, you add like the clouds and different stuff in between that makes it actually feel like he's zooming down, and it's just so cool.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I really like this shot right here. This was like one of the first ones you did, and it's a banger. We were thinking about putting like characters like skiing down the plains and everything, you'd see them, but because of how far away you are and all the moving stuff, we were like, we don't need it.
Starting at the highest point of the planet, we arrive at the Polar Peaks, home to the polar manzardil. Polar manzardil are quadrupedal reptiles standing between 4 to 6.
Shoutouts to Crystal for
Despite their
puppeting the
massive
lizards.
appearance, they are extremely
yes, of course,
warm-blooded
Crystal.
creatures, living in these frozen mountains purely for the sake
They
of
were done months ago, by the
Unlike
way.
most
She was like
manzardil, they
on the
possess
ball
an
with it.
extremely strong
I also
hypothermia.
really love the like X-ray like slice in half.
The anatomical
Yeah,
charts.
whatever you would call this.
So with the Aeropella, I did 2 just for the heck of it, and people were so excited that I did those, and I was surprised. So I wanted to like make sure that from now on I try to do at least 1 or 2 anatomical designs per episode. And I was like, if I'm doing 1 lizard, I gotta do all the lizards.
Gotta.
They all work differently, so
And you invented
Yeah.
this hypothermous gland, which I didn't even realize was not real.
yeah, no, it's a was it? So there's a gland in the human brain called the oh god, I think it's the
The hippocampus.
hippocampus.
Yeah.
Yes, that actually does control like temperature control internally. But the way that lizards ones work in real life, they do work differently than humans, to a point that they do need to be able to like go into sunlight to keep themselves warm externally and stuff like that. So the reason I made it a specialty organ was to 1, explain the powers, how Arctiguana can shoot ice out of its mouth, but 2, because like, oh, they're lizards, it makes sense that they need to have the external force be the thing regulating their bodily temperature. And for people be like, well, the organ can just regulate it internally. Why is it more complicated? Ask the universe why things are designed the way they are.
Yeah.
Sometimes stuff is stupid. It works. And like, that's just how it works.
It's legit, and I love it. Also, glad Crystal's getting some love in the chat too. Bless.
Everyone shout out to Crystal.
Everyone tonight, whenever it's nighttime in your time zone, just go outside real quick and just to the moon.
The moon. Praise the moon.
The hypothermos is an organ attached to the esophagus. That is used to help regulate the bodily temperature externally by means of expectorating. For polar manzardil, they breathe in water
Gulp.
vapor through their gills and freeze it as they exhale, helping them cool down quickly. Manzardil also possess throat pouches attached to these gills they can use for storage. The polar species specifically store water to release later as freezing pressure.
So one thing I do want to mention. So yeah, just for context of people watching this in the future, earlier Ash did do a stream already, briefly going over some of the Ambion episodes, but not like to this intricacy. And I didn't recall your disdain for using clips from the show. I do like the idea of using at least 1 clip somewhere per episode just to really tie it to, you know, it's not a canon extension as the sense like we can officially say it's part of the Ben 10 universe, but it's still it's a branch off of the Ben 10 universe, and I feel like having at least 1 thing to tie it all back together is useful.
It helps relate it.
Yeah, but yeah, like in Terradino, where like half the episode was clips from the show, that was a lot. So yeah. I am 100% down to making as many of the original assets as we can, but I still enjoy when we can show stuff in the show just to be like, look, like this is what we're talking about. Like we're trying to scientifically explain this and develop the lore. So we're not so far removed that this isn't even recognizable as Ben 10 anymore. But yeah, I mean, the more original assets, the better.
Polar species specifically store water to release later as freezing pressurized blasts. Many use this ability for sculpting large ice sculptures, such as the well-known ice artist Chilhuli.
All right, tell me a little bit about these. I know you got some stuff.
Okay, so with the first sculpture on the left, that was the first well, actually the second instance of like trying to show that like basically within the Zanelli culture, the like curled over lizard spiral thing, that is essentially their cross to like via Christianity type of thing. It is their holy symbol that they associate with their belief system and stuff. Which I did see a comment, someone being like, one belief system for a whole planet? That doesn't make sense. This is a cartoon. Shut up. Sorry, I'm caffeinated.
It's all good.
But yeah, so I tried to sprinkle this like spiral image of the god like throughout the episode as much as I could, very subtly. For instance, at first, I was actually going to make the Polar Peaks mountain, the reason it's curved like that, it was going to be in the shape of Manzardill's head at first. And I was like, I'm be more subtle with it, more subtle. And then for the other ice sculpture, Chilhuli is based off of an actual artist that I really like named Chihuli.
How do I spell that? I'm trying to find a picture.
Wait, I have it written on my sketchbook actually. Give me 1 second to grab.
Oh, I found. I think I found it.
1 sec. It is Chihuli.
Yeah.
Which my sketchbook I use all the time is actually one that I bought when I went to his museum a couple years ago. Oh, my camera's dead apparently.
Yeah, it's because I'm on Google trying to find a picture of Chilhuli. There we go. Now
yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Now I can bring you up again and have this picture of Chilhuli.
Yeah, no, so after I graduated high school, I took a trip up to Oregon, where my family's originally from. And I was staying with my grandma, and she drove us down to Seattle to just kind of see the sights. I'd never been there. And she knew I liked art, so she suggested this museum. He does glass artwork, where it's like all glass blown tubes that stack up into these amazing and crazy looking shapes. And I was like, wait a second. That would be perfect for like ice sculpture and stuff like that as a reference, especially because his name, Chihuli, just put extra L's in there, Chilhuli, like it works perfectly. And I love doing like little referential stuff in general to real life people if I can. But yeah, no, I just it's an artist that I really enjoy the work of. To my knowledge, he is unfortunately passed away. So
he lives forever in Zanelli.
Yes. Yeah. That's gonna make me sad. Oh God. Oh, that almost made me cry for a second. Jesus, thanks, Rob.
No problem. All right, we can move on. No more emotions.
I was meaning like that.
Chilhuli. Being herbivores, polar manzardills subsist primarily on crops of cold-resistant root vegetables like
I love this
frost
whole
tubers and sporadish.
explanation you
These
came
vegetables,
up with.
similar to Earth's potatoes contain a chemical called
with the
solanine that,
solanine,
when
yeah.
consumed, can cause extreme gastric distress.
Which is a real chemical in potatoes.
And this right here is a reference to the scene in Omniverse in The Frogs of War Part 2 where Kevin nearly barfs just because Ben's flirting as Bullfrag. So you just redrew that pretty much in the 5-whale version, and I actually used like the audio from it. So
I like to think that Kevin's just queasy all the time for
yeah,
he's this tough guy that just has a weak stomach.
He's got a weak stomach. I totally get that. For me, it smells. Like I feel like I can see some pretty crazy screwed up shit, but like when it comes to smells, I can't stand it. I start gagging. Yeah.
Extreme gastric distress. The manzardill are famous for their unique farming technique called steam rooting. Planting their crops over natural cave hot springs, the harvest of the vegetables are cooked by the steam as they grow, breaking down the solanine and making it safe and ready for consumption.
That looks delicious.
Wow, it looks so good it makes me wish I had a digestive system.
Also, Horace's pupils slowly drifting forward is an error. It's inconsequential.
like,
but I've noticed it and I hate it. I couldn't fix that. I wish I got him to turn here. This was one of the last shots I did. I animated everything and then went back and put Horus in all the shots. And at this point I was like, man, I can't do it. He's just gonna do this. He used to just be a PNG, okay? This is impressive enough. I'm not gonna he doesn't have to keep
It's still very impressive, bro.
Yeah. Thank you. Now we're in Mountain World.
Moving down the mountain, we arrive at Plummet Ridge, home to the Talus Manzardil. Talus Manzardil are large quadrupedal reptiles.
I love these guys.
Between 7 to 11 foot tall.
Dang.
These Manzardil are more moderately warm-blooded and rely more on the chilling winds of their high altitude.
I think these were
home to
actually
keep
one of the
cool.
last ones I
These
designed.
Talus Manzardil live deep in mountainous caves that were originally dug out for mineral mining. Thanks to their
The amount of resistance I had to not use Minecraft sound effects. I wanted to, but I was just like, if I did, it would have jumped out to people too much and they would have just ignored whatever you were about to say. So
You know what's really funny though?
yeah.
As soon as the episode released, I got a message from Crystal with a screenshot from this section. She's like, "Is that supposed to be a diamond pickaxe?" And I'm like, "Shut up."
Was that your
Yes.
Crystal voice?
Attempt, yes.
Beautiful. All right, rate it, Crystal. How accurate does he sound like you?
Oh no.
But yeah,
No.
I was like, oh, I totally could, but I was like, no, because then people are they're gonna zone out thinking about it. Let's just not.
Crystal said she's offended. No. I'm sorry. I tried.
thanks to their
Oh, and this ripple effect, I think I use in every single episode somehow. It's always the
really
same.
good.
Yeah.
It looks cool.
This time it's overlaid, so like you don't actually see the ripples, but like the circle expanding thing, I use that so much. It's so useful and so diverse.
Thanks to their advanced echolocation, they've managed to mine ores while leaving very little impact on their beautiful natural cave systems that they now
Yeah.
host guided tours in.
Tours and drop the bass.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is where we start seeing some cameos. As you get closer to the equator, there's more and more frequent tourists. Well, I'll get to the cameos like the expansion of them soon. But here we got one of the slug people from and Beyond episode 7, Kilmus, and this here is Volcanus, and that's his mom, right?
Yes, her name was. Oh God, I have it typed somewhere. Her name, I believe, I made it Volcanra, because the whole thing with Volcanus's name is that he's named after like one of the Greek gods. So I used like a combination of the actual parents' names, to be that. Oh, Volcana, that's what it was.
Volcana.
So he just refers to her as Ma, but yeah, it's Volcanus and his mom Volcana.
What about Davey here saying Mum Canis?
No. Don't like
Just a hard no. Okay.
I'm sorry, I don't like Mom Canis. I don't know why.
Mom
It sounds
Canis.
strange.
Talus Manzardil have very tough stone-like scales. These scales paired with their echolocation
This is a really good drawing, too.
hunting a breeze for this omnivorous lizard.
I looked
They
at
will
real
cling
charts of
camouflage to the
lizards
slope of
to
a
do
mountain,
them.
waiting for flying prey such as Raptera to pass. Once detected, the Manzardil will leap off of the mountain to catch the prey mid-air. Then proceed to plummet back down the mountainside, safely protected by their scales.
Bird death number 1.
This tactic really gives new meaning to bait and tackle. Ha 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 ha.
So I tried to end every section with a joke of some kind, purely because, like, I just thought it'd be funny. And this is a fan servicey episode, so like, why can't I have fun with
Yeah.
it? I didn't know you were gonna keep adding in the applause and have it start glitching and stuff.
Yeah, I
And
mean, it was in the script.
so good.
You had the usually it's like 1 per episode maybe, but in the script you had 3. And I was like,
Oh,
yeah. I was thinking to myself, I'll just make each one progressively more and more glitched. That way it's less repetitive. So yeah, you can start to see the descent of Horus. But yeah, you wrote in fact, you actually wrote it 4 times. One of them I just cut entirely.
fair.
Yeah. But it's all good. Okay.
Arriving at the bottom of the mountain, we find
So these are the first cameos that I drew. So basically, I feel like every now and then for years you were trying to get me to use commission aliens or fan aliens.
What are you talking about?
Every now and then you would just be like, can I use this? And be like, no. Especially in drawing matrices too. You keep trying to get me to like reference other artists. I'm like, we can't do it. Because simply just because of there's two major reasons. For one, it's just, using outside fan ideas just never goes right. It just never does for a multitude of reasons. And second, even if we did, it would seem unfair because we would only do it every now and then. It would be like, oh, why them and not me, So right. This time, the way you explained it to me was you wanted this as a finale to be like a celebration of the community and the commission. So you wanted to feature some. And originally it was just going to be the ones that were like majorly highlighted, like the ones that like Hexapos in the shroom section and Dopamil in the coastal section. And then I still had the fear of like, why them and not the others? It's going to seem like favoritism. So, right. But I felt like I just was, I don't know, part of me was just like, man, maybe I am being too stingy. Like, we could just show cameos and stuff. And I was like, I feel like the only way we can do this and not make it seem like we're choosing, like picking and choosing favorites, is if we just threw in as many as we can. Like, literally so many that if we didn't include anybody's, it would be understandable because we couldn't. Rather than like featuring like 6 out of like 200 and everyone it's always that, and there's still probably people that feel that way. Like, how come they're alien, not mine? It's like, right. I'm sorry, but we tried. Yeah. We had such a big list. Yeah. That is one thing that we did. We did look at, so every single alien that showed up here, we did look at their lore and make sure it's at least somewhat reasonable they would be here. Some of them, it's a bit of a stretch, but it is what it is. And then we also took note of who made what alien, so there wouldn't be repeats. Like, if we just chose them based on the alien, we might unknowingly choose like 4 by one person when that could have been 4 different people. So I think maybe a repeat snuck in here and there, but if we did it perfectly, then each commissioner only had 1 alien featured in here. In hopes, and this is the first section, and because there were so many alien cameos and commissions, we split the work. I was just like, look, I will draw this, and this. You draw this, and this. That way, we get it done in twice the amount of time, and we get absolutely as many cameos as we possibly can in this episode. So there's much lower of a chance of people feeling left out. But I'm just gonna say it. I can't see us doing this again. I don't want it to be a standard that like, oh, there's a chance they might use fan aliens. Like, I just feel like we're never going to do this again just because of the reasons we never did it for the first few years in the first place. It creates too many problems.
The reason I was so adamant with doing it with this episode, again, because I wanted this to be very fan servicey and like a giant love letter to the community itself. The fact that 5 years later has been going for how long again, Rob? I'm sorry.
6 years.
6 years. And Beyond has been going for just about 4 years. So like the crazy support that we get, and just I had to do something. I'm gonna be honest. During the production of this, I was being very kind of like emotionally driven with some stuff, and like I wanted to do it for y'all. Yeah. I wanted to so badly.
And just to clarify earlier, what I meant by you trying to get me to use fan aliens is every now and then you would like an alien. Just be like, can I put this here? And I'd have to say no. And every single time I felt, it doesn't feel good to say no. Be like, no, you can't do that. Everything has to come from you. And it's a challenge too. So like, I was like, this time, as the season 1 finale to celebrate the community, we'll make an exception, but we just can't do it. I'm sorry, but we did it here. So I don't know. That's all I have to say about that. That sounded better in my head.
Arriving at the bottom of the mountain,
And having to
we
move
find
and stuff
ourselves
too.
at Sluice.
This was so extra. I think this is my favorite section too, Sluice Slopes, just because I love how the mud lizards look.
We find ourselves at
They're probably
Sluice
my
Slopes,
favorite lizards
a
I
muddy
made.
river gully created by the mountains.
Oh, and I don't think I told you, but these Piscus Valayan right here are our colors.
Oh yeah, no, you told me. You told me.
Okay. Yeah. We're fish people.
Just two fish
Runoff,
bros.
and
Yeah.
the home to the Meyer Manzerdale. Meyer Manzerdale are
He's just looking. I love
Okay,
it.
so with these, I did base this one off of what was it? Thomas Perkins concept art wise of the whenever he was doing concepts for Upchuck, like how some of them got reused for Arctiguana and Spitter and stuff.
Yeah.
I based these guys off of one of the derpiest looking ones of those, and I was like, I have to. I love it too much. I've wanted to use it for something. These are probably my favorite designed ones, just in general, because like how derpy and stupid they are.
I
and
love it.
them.
They remind me of my cat Bruce. Just like the brainless chaotic energy. I'm just like if
Just
my yeah, that's my cat.
Oh,
are small
God, I love it.
bipedal reptiles standing between 2 to 4 foot tall. Being warm-blooded, they use the mud created by the
It
mountain
keeps lagging, my bad.
slush runoff to keep cool. With this runoff overtaking the majority of their home, they've trained their
This
gills
was a
to
fun
work
little
separately.
animation too.
By breathing in mud via their gills, they can expel it from their mouths, and then in turn,
I like how they all
flow
kind of
it
have
back
like
into their
similar
mouths.
methods
can
to how
then
they do
propel it
things
out of their gills,
because
granting them the
they're all
ability to
still
maneuver
lizards.
around quickly
So like
Yeah,
pressurized
there's
they all
like
have very similar anatomy and stuff
yeah,
too.
there's a harmony
So it
to how
makes
they
sense.
work. It all comes down to what are they breathing in and how do they expel it in a sense. Like they're not so different where it's just like, well, what makes them a Manzerdil? You know?
Well, a thing too, if you take it slightly back to show their anatomy again. So with the Manzerdil that had like more similar abilities to each other, like how we say later on that the coastal ones work very similar to these, I tried to mimic their anatomy based off of their abilities. So like if you look at this, their anatomy is set up very, very differently from like the slag and polar and stuff like that, but it does resemble very closely the coastal. And then like later on, the tropic and the fung look very similar to each other as well.
Right.
Also, in the polar section, I say that they have a very strong hypothermos, which is a little bit more rare, because if you notice that little dangly bit in his throat, that tiny bit right there, that's his hypothermos. That's how it usually is with most regular Manzerdil of other subspecies. They don't have abilities like being able to shoot ice out of their mouth.
Yeah.
They rely more on what they can store in their storage pouch. And it's only certain species that have a stronger hypothermos that can do additional stuff.
Yeah, I love it, honestly. It's
Thank you.
yeah, it's that like they're each definitely their own beings, but there is a thread that connects them all, like through the hypothermos, that I like. It's just, you know, it's not like, oh, here's a friggin' lightning lizard. I don't know why I keep going back to that. It's
Because everyone wanted a lightning lizard.
no lightning lizard.
No.
You should personally feel bad about that opinion. I'm calling you out. I'm looking right at you, whoever you are. If you wanted a lightning lizard, I want you to stay awake at night and think about how stupid of an idea that is. I'm just kidding.
Oh my
No.
god. I'm sorry, it's just really funny.
It is. I hope they clip that and think I'm serious. That's my goal in life.
Oh no.
propel it out of their gills, granting them the ability to maneuver blasts of mud.
That's
Seeing
always
as
fun.
The species are detritivores that mainly feed on the nutrients in soil, they seem to be very happy spending their days.
Hold on. We're covering this little dummy here. This guy's
I
my
love
favorite
him.
thing
I
in
love
the
him
whole.
so much.
Seeing as this species are detritivores that mainly feed on the nutrients in soil,
That was actually
they
really
seem to
hard
be very happy
to
spending
make.
their days
Oh, I'm
eating
sorry.
mud.
That's okay. That's so funny. It's like he's about to eat it and then a hard cut to a completely different scene.
I
So
love it. So
you were telling me you drew each of these waves, or it's a texture? Like how did
it was a texture that I had to like keep going in and changing and redrawing and stuff so that it would go with the curves of each of the shapes.
Yeah, because I noticed it bent with the shape of the thing instead of being slapped on there.
Mhm.
So I was like, good shit, dude.
Yes, and like I said, this is a fan service episode. You're welcome.
Honestly, I like that stuff like this is in there because it should be more normalized. Like, stuff like this shouldn't have to be such a big deal. Like,
Yeah.
there's definitely there's sexy lizards in space. Like, who really cares? Like, whatever.
They're also
Another
equipped
thing
with their-
with it too,
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure that, because admittedly, a complaint I have sometimes with, like, in the franchise, they're like, oh, it's a girl version, here's some boobs, and that's it. I tried to, like, still play within their anatomy. Like, these are lizards, they're not gonna have boobs.
Yeah.
Like, it's not needed, they're not mammals. So, but still putting them in the pose and accentuating and stuff, like, it still gives off the vibe. And I'm very happy that people like it so much.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's really cool, and honestly, I'm still I'm very impressed by the texture. Like, I can see how that could have been a bitch to put together.
It
very
was
sleek, smooth scales that make slipping around
Ugh. Now you guys see why I hate Premiere.
very easy for them. They use these slip and slide skills to host activities such as mud surfing, which, despite the mess, does look very fun.
Okay, I had to include Spitter in the episode in some way, because I know a lot of people wanted Spitter to be an Arctiguana subspecies, but it is stated in the official lore he comes from a different planet and is a different species. So
Yeah.
I still wanted at least a shout out to him, but Spitter is not a lizard boy. I'm sorry.
No Lizzie.
No Lizzie. No Lizzie for Spitzy.
This was fun. We got Verdona here.
Densely populated sections
Oh,
of the
yeah.
planet, we arrived in the lush jungles of Haktu, home to the tropic.
So Hawk 2, literally is just meant to be a play on the, like, spitting up a loogie. That's the joke. That's the joke of it. And the overall joke for this entire section and the inspiration, as dumb as it is, y'all know how in Omniverse they gave Arctiguana a Jamaican accent for no reason? Well, I based an entire species off of, like, Jamaican themed, essentially. Yeah.
Yeah. And yes, that is it. Sorry, the chat just said, yeah, this is indeed Verdona. This is her Omniverse design that went unused. I wanted to put it in there just because I think it's a dope design and it should shine somewhere, even if it's just, a fan project. It's still like, ooh, look, there it is. Isn't that cool? And just so you know what she's up to. She's out there living it up. She's hanging out. Maybe she knew that she sensed there was going to be some type of attack or something and wanted to come protect. That we didn't think about that at all. I'm just... In terms of Verdona, I was just making that up. I want to be clear. Her specifically in that cameo doesn't have to do with the story. But, I mean, I don't know. Maybe we could throw that in there. And you can see a Lace Ritter up here with some sunglasses from 5YL. Just chilling. And a little Popcorn Planet guy because, it's part of the universe. So why fight it? They're real. And they're there, and you can't do anything about it.
Tropic
Yeah, they
Manzardelle
crap.
are quadrupedal reptiles standing between 5.
I love how
These
these
are
are
really good
animated.
puppets.
Yeah, I was just
Yeah,
gonna say,
Crystal
like,
did great.
these especially, like, there's a lot in there. Even the individual fingers, like, flexing, and then you can see, like, the mouth actually passes over the goop as a separate layer. Good stuff.
Oh,
Really
this
good
is so-
stuff.
Plus, she did these with just the still images I drew. I didn't consider whenever she needs to puppet them, things being able to move and stretch back and forth over something, so I didn't do anything separate. And she still did it so amazing.
Yeah, it looks good.
Reptiles standing between 5 to 6 foot tall. Unlike the previous 3 species, Tropic Manzardelle are moderately cold-blooded. They're a hypothermos radiating heat rather than cold. But living in such an already warm and
This
musty
was fun.
environment,
I love
it is
that you
mainly
did this
used
bit.
just
It's
for
so
their
cool.
specialized
Thank you. This is literally the absolute last thing I did for the entire episode, even after Horus and Taurus, because this entire section I didn't finish the cameos in time. So I was just like, you know what? There doesn't need to be cameos here. I'm going to do absolutely everything to the point where the episode's 100% done. And then if I have time, I'll throw some people in. And luckily I did have time. So there are people here. And then I had a little bit more extra time, so I practiced doing this. I honestly don't think the swinging. I think I could have used more time to really fine tune those keyframes, but it's enough.
It looks really dope still.
Thank you. And for you 90s Spider-Man fans out there, you might recognize this shirt. So yeah.
I was wondering.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's that's 90s Peter Parker's shirt because they're swinging, Oh man, just found an error. No, I do remember that. I animated them, then rasterized their layer, and then moved it over slightly because I needed it more centered. So whoops. It's only for like, a couple frames though. It's
in motion,
fine.
it's not noticeable. Yeah.
So actually, two of Insane Main's contributions are in the same section. I didn't even think about that till now. Slingshot and Ultraviolet are here. So yeah. Shout out to you, Alex. Awesome stuff.
Thank you, Alex.
Yeah, thank you. We're very thankful, and we're happy that they're still able to be featured in the 5YL universe.
But living in such an already warm and muggy environment, it is
Lagging again.
It is mainly used just for their specialized expectorating. For generations, the omnivorous tropic manzardelle have fed on a special fruit called amakian. This fruit contains extremely high levels of starch, so that when it is jammed and heated, it becomes...
Here's another thing.
Yeah.
How I said I tried to hide manzardelle spiral and everything. The inside of the amakian I did as a spiral to kind of like... How we did with the Takustar stuff in Enter Transil, where it's like the anatomy works into the environment. The same thing here, where it just kind of like is ensued throughout everything.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Also, is this two things like holding hands?
Yes. Well, yes and no. So it actually is the chemical thing for starch. I did two of them though to show like it's very strong, and the fact that it's like two holding hands is just really funny.
Yeah, I love this animation here too. It's kind of simple, but I just think it worked out really well. Yeah, and then he does the final stretch.
Becomes an enjoyable, thick, viscous, sticky paste comparable in consistency to the earth dessert mochi.
So the reason there's a little cat purr there is because of my cat Mochi. And this thing, it has a similar pattern to her fur. So if you ever see a picture of my cat Mochi, her fur pattern mirrors this. So, shout outs to my girl.
Through generations of consuming this amakian jam,
this is a really good anatomy shot too.
To pack their throat pouches with it and use the heat from their hypothermos to manipulate and expectorate jelly-like webbing.
This is where the whole section being based on the not joke, but like the inspiration of them being like Jamaican and Caribbean themed and stuff. We call it amakian jam. Can anyone guess as to why I called it that?
Do 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 waka 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 do 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 do.
Yeah, no. So it's literally just the word Jamaican, but I took jam off the front and put it at the end. It's amakian jam. So yeah.
Love it. Love it.
I hate it. It's so stupid, but it's funny to me.
Oh, these lizards are killing bugs, not birds. Nice change up here.
Oh yeah, I should have bird. Dang it.
Insects.
Also, I can't explain it, but I love how these wing patterns came out. It was a little tricky, but I feel like they came out looking really good.
Large jungle insects.
I love how the animation turned out.
Thank you.
And string-like instruments.
Oh, and the sound effects for these things were really hard to figure out. Because it was supposed to have a unique sound. So if you listen closely, they're like slightly edited things to try to have the audible description of what he's about to say.
But also to create drums and string-like instruments. These custom instruments give off a very unique, distorted, jumpy sound that is the staple
Also, these
of
are
the
based off of
Tongere
actual
music genre.
traditional Jamaican instruments.
You know what they say. Nobody can make Tongere music without knowing how to amakian jam. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha.
So that's another thing too. The Tongere music, it's reggaeton, but I switched it around so it's tongue because they shoot the stuff out of their mouth. Ha ha ha.
You
Ha ha ha.
you crafty bastard.
Some of these things, when I say them out loud, they sound so stupid to me. But people like them, so.
My back. This is another section that I drew stuff for.
Oh,
There's a
really good.
There's a lot going on here actually. So down here, this is Alien X hanging out with 2 Alien Z's, which I thought was funny. So I have like this little lore joke. Oh, I did these guys are colors too. There's a lot of that going around. What was I gonna say? Oh, so I just have this like little story idea where these 2 stumble upon a celestial sapien somewhere and don't know what to do with it. And they just started bringing it around with them wherever they go, and they've been doing it for years. So they just bring around this celestial sapien and just dress it up and have fun with it. They'll go to the movies and buy a ticket for it and stuff like that.
It's like their best friend.
Yeah, and they just hang out with it, and they've just been doing it for years. And the interpersonalities are so confused but unthreatened. They just don't do anything about it because to them this is like happening for like 5 minutes. And it'll all be over. Whereas to the Alien Z's, this is probably going to be their best friend for the rest of their life. And in this sequence, the Coastal, there is a reference to every and beyond that came beforehand.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So we got episode 1, Humongosaur. Episode 2, Swampfire, doing the night sleep thing where he wraps himself into the ground. Episode 3, Ghost Zone, you can see Wolf up here. He's actually cut off. So referencing the Ghost Zone was a tricky thing because of how exclusive it's supposed to be, but I figured Wolf is a character who can rip through dimensions. So he's probably the only one who would be acceptable to have a cameo. So this is just Wolf peeking through. Episode 4, so how does the water work around that Humongosaur? It's immediately deep. Yeah.
Very deep.
Yeah, like this right here is happening over here too. Episode 4, Echo Echo. Episode 5 was Saiyans and Kryptonians. A Saiyan flies by over here. Episode 6, a Nur. Oh, here's a sleeping Tyrantal Ogre.
Which the reason it's that species specifically, because we talk about in that episode, they don't really like leave their system because of fearing and seeing everything else as monsters. Tyrantal ogres are so on the outside of the system and don't really interact with them, so they don't have the same ideology.
Yeah, so they leave if they want to, and this is one of the only places that they aren't shunned and scared from, or
They
people are
get
scared of
paralyzed a
them.
lot of
Yeah,
birds.
this is a very accepting place. You can see a Big Chill and a Jet Ray fly down up here. If Premiere would stop lagging. Lagging. Then a Rock Monster from Ledger Domain. So yeah, there's every and beyond episode that came before is all hanging out in the coastal area. And yeah, you can see some Clockworks hanging out here just because, why not? They probably get bored too. Also, I extended the shot just so I can play more of the music.
Making our way out of the jungles, we find
I love this
the
music.
longest stretch of beach in 4
Oh, and I should say, this is a perfect excuse to bring this up. Not every cameo is either a canon alien or a commissioned alien. Some of them we just make up. So if there's somewhere it's just like, who's that? And you can't figure it out, it's probably because it's not real. Like this, I just drew it right here. And I did not put any thought into it, so.
galaxies. This is the Sand Skirt, one solid coastline that
This was a very creative idea, too. I love that.
and is the home
Thank you.
Oh, and you can see Charles Zenith hanging out with the Llewellyn's queen or whatever here on a little honeymoon. And you can actually see one of the Submars dragging them through as like a little pre-cameo. Yeah.
Love doing those. They're so good.
and is the home of the coastal Manzardil. Coastal Manzardil are quadrupedal reptiles reaching lengths of 7 to 8 foot long.
These are pretty cool
These
ones. I like
warm-blooded
them, yeah.
Manzardil beat the heat by spending their days wading the soothing waters of their beachfront home. Similarly to their mud-encrusted cousins, coastal Manzardelle use their gills reciprocally to propel themselves through the ocean.
For some reason,
It's a very common sight
death,
to see
the
a
bird
coastal
death, was
Manzardelle
weird
launching
for me to
themselves high into
figure
the
out.
air to capture flying prey, then
Oh,
proceeding to drag
I do
them.
want to point out, because people were saying it in the comments a lot. People were like, hey, there's like quite a bit of like random Pokemon visual references throughout the episode. Yes, because Ben 10 itself did that quite a bit in Omniverse too. Like in here, you see Sea King, Goldeen in the water. The bird that gets chomped is a Wingull.
Oh, the bird's a
Why
Pokemon
is it a
too?
Wingull? Huh?
The bird's a Pokemon too?
Yes, it is based off the Pokemon Wingull, which I hate. That is why it gets chomped to death.
Mm.
I hate
Yes.
it so much.
Vent
It's
your
Zubat of the
frustrations.
beach. Yes, I did.
I get you. Yeah, this whole water thing, just because, you know, all the splashes and stuff and the movement and like the texture on the water, that there was just a lot going on. The sun up on the top. These are all things that like you don't really think about, but without it, it would just look like a still image. So like it's like I keep saying, you need movement somewhere so we can get away with not having to intricately animate all the time. Even if sometimes it doesn't make sense.
Typically feeding primarily on fish, these lizards really like eating birds, which makes sense, given that the coastal
I love
Manzardelle
this.
are one of the 2 purely carnivorous species on Snelly.
I think this is when I asked if we could use Phantom Aliens, because I really wanted to
Despite
do
their
this bit.
literal bloodthirstiness, coastal Manzardelle are extremely laid back and will even be found asleep drifting along rocking waves.
Oh.
It's so good.
This whole thing of him getting out of the water was really tricky to pull off too. Like, I feel like if I get into the nitty-gritty details, is too much, but I don't know why, but it's just hard to get something like this to look right. Like, if you see him start to turn, you see like the water is embedded into the image, and then I started masking it out here. And then if you look real closely, him interacting with the water is still attached to him before he goes in, so I blurred it so that it looks like he just splashes, stuff like that.
Then the majority
Then under here you got the wiggles, you got the water bubbles coming up. Just, you know, always got to have some movement.
Though they spend the majority of their time in the water, they cannot actually breathe underwater. They are just very skilled at holding their breath,
I love
only
that.
needing to surface for air once every few hours.
Oh, and of course, Ice Cream Man.
Yeah. So him
Oh,
actually, he was like a two-part idea. When I had the idea to put a cameo for every single And Beyond episode beforehand, I wanted to make the Tyranidal Ogre this like a reference to this guy. But then you were like, no, just put him there.
Just do it.
Like it's
Whatever.
like it's really him.
Yeah, it's just the Ben or the Anua 000 equivalent of him.
Yeah.
So it's not he dimensionally slipped from Hawaii to here. It's
Although
just
wouldn't have
he's
it
a
been
human.
funny if he did though? Like I'm sure out of the
That would've-
600 something 628 629, one of them has dimensional powers somehow.
That just makes me want to draw Horus as an experiment now.
I kind of do want it to be literally him somehow. I don't know
You know
how.
what?
I don't have a
If you're
reason.
canonizing it. I'm
Yeah,
cool.
we don't have an explanation, but I
It's
feel
just
like
here.
that's the fun of it. Somehow he just ended up here, and he still just can't eat an ice cream.
Nope. Nowhere. And that was Amakian flavored too.
Yeah, one of them turns into a black hole. That's how. That's how.
Hours.
He didn't die from that.
Yeah.
Ironically, many theorize that the low level of oxygen intake they have is why they seem so airheaded.
Huh.
Uh-huh.
Stupid ass lizards. Oh my god, this scene broke my computer
Oh
for a
my
bit.
God. I'm so
Plunging deeper
sorry.
into the
It's
lower
okay.
recesses of the oceans, we find ourselves in the Night Sea. This underwater series of sea-note caves are littered with translucent domes of thick volcanic glass. This strange underwater windowed cave system is
Oh, and I got some Koizens here because originally there was going to be no visitors here because it's only for like tough guys. But then I was like, what if there was like an alien, like it's like an exclusive resort only for beings that can survive down here. And I've also never had an excuse to draw Koizen again. So Koizens come to visit the Night Sea, but it's too
Koizen.
hazardous and too dangerous for most beings. So you really got to be a top dog to come down here. You gotta be
A
tough.
top dog of the down
Yeah.
below.
This is the salty spittoon of Zanelli.
I want to draw that so badly now with the
The cave
submerged
system is home
subterror.
to 2 species of Manzerdale.
And the bouncer is one of the subters.
Yeah, no. It's a subter trying to get in, and it's a submar being the bouncer's like, how tough are you? Goes over to the tiny boy. How tough am I?
Yeah.
You know, I stubbed my toe in my boglow garden this morning and only cried for 20 minutes. Damn it, I love that. I'm gonna have to draw that at some point. That's really funny.
That'd be so good.
Manzerdale, the Submar, and the Subter. The Submar Manzerdale are extremely large
Another
aquatic
amazing
lizards,
puppet
measuring
by
to be
Crystal.
about 17 foot long.
Before I edited this episode and you only showed me the images, this was my favorite. Just because I thought he looked the coolest. But then once I started editing and really getting to learn about the lizard's culture, the mud guys are so fucking funny to me. And then the glow ones too, coming up the subters. I love really stupid looking aliens.
The goofy little boys are the
Yeah.
best. That's why I like Upchuck is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Non-water breathing, they only need to surface for air when sleeping. Due to the combination of being cold-blooded
Another
and also
fantastic
primarily
X-ray.
So this one is supposed to be a mixture, or a somewhat mixture of the talus and of the slag, because it's got the extremely large hypothermos that does the heat radiation, but it also does chomp down sediment and filters it through its system to build up a hide that make it to where it can be tough enough to be down there pressure wise.
Yeah, I noticed it has a lot of the extra fatty layers too, like the talus as well. And his hypothermos is so big that it developed like a rib cage to hold it.
Well, those are his gills. Like
Those
all
are
the
his
other ones.
gills? Oh, okay, I'm seeing it. Okay, even
just
so,
with-
that's
with- with-
gigantic compared to like the little marble of some of them.
They're like essentially the primordial Manzerdills.
Chilling deep seawater, the Submar Manzerdale's hypothermos is in constant extreme heat, bringing the water
I don't know why, but I thought he was going to say constant extreme pain.
constant extreme heat,
Yes.
bringing the water around it to a near boil. They also
That is the
SpongeBob
authentic SpongeBob bubbles. Those are the SpongeBob bubbles.
I don't know how you got it, and I'm so happy you did.
Luckily, it was
When I-
just on YouTube.
sweet,
Thankfully,
okay.
yeah. I guess somebody else must have wanted him. This whole swimming sequence, him all the way up to the surface, was very tricky. In fact, drawing the assets, I think we did that on a Patreon stream once too. So you know, if
We
you ever,
did.
yeah, it was this part right here, and oh yeah, you can see the quick flick right here, between the masking. That was just my computer was not running smooth enough for me to accurately mask this. He does kind of slip through, but I tried to do it fast enough where you wouldn't notice. But like, I mean, my computer's having an issue doing this preview already just on a live stream. Like when the layers are pre-rendered and they're separated and there's like 14 different things going on with a bunch of effects not baked in yet. Like I literally could not see what I was doing. I was just trusting the math and the keyframes and then rendered it out and just hoped it looked good.
It does look fantastic.
Thank you. If I had like an ultra powerful machine to work on, I probably could have masked it a little better, but whatever.
They also use this heat to melt rock, helping them explore more.
See, it can't even play it right now.
Also use this heat to melt rock, helping them explore more subterranean caves.
I do love it
Carbon
though,
dating
the
on
little,
their obsidian-like
and then
scale states the average submarine
the scale
is
flies
roughly
off.
4 to 5,000 years old. It is believed that they may have been
Oh,
the first species
I
of
would like to
Manzerdale.
specify real quick. When it says 4 to 5,000 years old, people are like, that's not very old for a species. That's not what we meant. Each individual that is alive is like 4 or 5,000 years old.
Yeah.
The species itself, no one knows how old it is because they don't know exactly how old Zanelli is in general.
Right.
Yeah, I just wanted to specify that. I saw a lot of people in the comments like, that's not very old for a species. How did it even develop?
You're not very old for a species. How did you develop? Roasted.
Oh!
Boom. Boom. Good night, folks. Keep it fizzy.
End of breakdown.
And while we're here, small editing thing. When he swims up to the light passes over him. Yeah. You're welcome.
Looks so good.
Thank you.
They may have been the first species of Manzardil to exist.
Hello.
And then this
You
was
drew
one of
these
my
ones.
Yes, this was one of my
Residing in
favorite
the subterranean
background sections to do. Like, even the cameos and everything in it. You got 2 Florana, you got Boiling Point species, you got some Pyronites. Off to the left, you have Pinball with a Biosvatran Lodestar, and then they have a child together. That's a little fusion right there.
Mm-hmm.
And then also something I had to fight Rob on because I wanted it to happen.
Yeah.
Slap Strike is canon now.
Honestly, you must have caught me in a really good mood. Because, like,
did.
I can't fucking believe we did this.
Oh,
But
God,
no
this was-
going back. I mean,
No
he's
going
canon.
back.
Yeah, it's canon. It's fine. It doesn't matter.
We've also got Froze Alien hanging up there.
Yeah,
And
Slapster.
if you look very close, Hobble is on vacation as well.
Yep.
Right there in the middle.
And that really is Hobble. Some of these are just species, but this is, like, actually
That is
Hobble.
Hobble.
I also appreciate that you gave these Pyronites some type of submersive equipment so that it would be reasonable that they're even here in the first place. So, you know, we do think. But yeah, I love that we got Itsy Glicky in here too. I'm pretty sure he shows up again later.
He does.
Gotta love Itsy Glickies.
The Subter Manzardil. The Subter Man.
Oh, and their sound effects are a lamb. A lot of them, sometimes I do, like, as you've seen with the Inur, I record my own sounds, or I'll at least take a sound effect and warp it and twist it and layer it. This one, it's just unedited. It's literally just the sound of a lamb. And I just love it.
Ocean, we find the Subter Manzardil. These Subter Manzardil are bipedal reptiles standing about 2 to 3 foot tall. Cold-blooded, they rely mainly on the heat of volcanic vents and
Yeah, also...
The child climbing on something like all of them do on vacations.
Yeah. I do want to note out, just as a word for those who do with sound effects, you got to think outside the box sometimes. Like, if you're always looking for a sound effect that's literally the object you're trying to find, you might hit some walls. Like, for example, the Polar Manzardil at the beginning, when he shoots out the ice breath, if you're just searching ice breath sound effect, you might not, you're very limited. That's the sound of an espresso machine. So I took the sound effect out of an espresso machine, altered it a little bit, and then boom, ice breath. So, like, sometimes you really got to think outside the box. With Taurus unfolding, those are a bunch of gun clocking sound effects. So
It's kind of like the Ed and Nettie sound effect mindset. How
yeah,
they have like sumo sounds and yodeling and stuff for random like expressive sound effects and
yeah. So yeah, orb. That's right, orb.
Orb.
More orbs. I love that the Kraho are down here because of the heat too. That's good continuity.
to keep warm. Comparative biological research suggests that they are an extremely underdeveloped.
Okay, so with
You're
with
just
these
gonna
guys-
roast him right here.
Look, so here's the thing. I wanted for sure each of the subs to be like a symbiotic thing. The Submar are some of the toughest lizards on the planet. The Subter are the weakest. They've got no teeth, a vestigial hypothermos, which means it does nothing at all. It can't keep them warm or cold in any way. They need to stay warm because they're cold-blooded. Guild dysnephia is they can't breathe very well. They have weak muscular structure. Their storage pouches are outside their bodies, so they could literally pop at a moment's notice. They have frail bones, and they have cerebral hypoxia, which means they are really, really not very bright and have terrible memory.
I love them. You know what? They might take the mud ones in my ranking. It's so
just fun
funny.
They're fun little dudes.
Did I spell? Yeah, Manzardil. I talked a little bit about that at the beginning. That's one of those things where, like, we just want y'all to put the pieces together. But, keep watching. Maybe you'll figure it out.
Species. This is supported by the fact that their diet primarily consists of a low-nutrient bioluminescent fungus known as boglow.
Boglow. Oh, I love this.
However, an interesting adaptation of their fungal diet is that
So one thing I do want to say, this was a purposeful deviation from the script. You didn't want him to light up the room until you mentioned the bioluminescence, but that was right at the end. And I wanted you to be able to see the image earlier, so I just had him do it right away. Yeah.
and voluntary bioluminescence. Both species work together symbiotically, exploring the deep dark depths of
I love
uncharted
doing this
channels
drawing.
and caves.
I
The
was so
Sublar
happy with
provide
this
the
drawing
heat to
when
keep
it
them
came
warm
out.
on their journey, and the Subter provide the glow to light the way, making them truly partners in crime.
He's breaking so much.
Yeah, every time he does it, it's a little bit more intense. That was another tricky thing, like balancing where to throw in the forest glitches, because I didn't want it to take away from the episode, but it needed to increasingly happen. Here we go.
Oh god, so many
Rounding up
things
through the
in
cave
this little
systems,
scene.
we emerge in the middle of a fung gully.
This is where I would hang out.
So with this one, notable cameos I want to point out real quick. In the very center left, we have a fan alien called Head Chef. With that though, it's Walter White and Jesse Pinkman as a head chef and a planchicule.
Yep.
Also off to the side, we have we have Melosea or whatever. I put dressed as Beaver from the same show. Or Badger.
Oh, right.
Is it Badger?
Badger, yeah. With the beanie?
Yeah.
Sorry, let me center him more.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Like I've never seen Breaking Bad, like I haven't watched it. But I wanted to put the references in there just for the fun of it. I thought it was really funny.
I love it.
Other notable, if you look up to in the center, the right of the Apoplexian, that is Dennis from my Fusion Lab series. He's the little monster that lives inside my logo.
Mm-hmm. And we got another Itsy Glicky up there.
Oh yeah, chilling with the oh god, what's the name? I always forget.
There's so many in here, man. It's the
There's
one
so
that was based on a frisbee.
Low crawl.
Yeah. Oh, and right here, this is an alien that was a fan alien, but isn't even on the wiki. There's a couple of those in here now. This was made by Agent Staw, I believe. We wanted to at least make sure all of the agents in our Discord could get a cameo in there if they could, as like so that's a bit of favoritism, I'll admit, because they do a lot for us. So we were just like, if anybody's gonna get cameos, it should be them. So I asked them all, and some of them just didn't even make aliens, so there was nothing we could do. But Staw, he had an alien that he didn't commission us yet, but he wanted it in the episode. Well, he didn't want it in the episode. He didn't know what it was for, but he wanted to show it to us because we just said, "Hey, do you have a favorite alien you've ever made?" And he was like, "This." He didn't know what it was for at the time, so we threw him in there. So if you want to see his original art, just ask him. So yeah, there's all kinds of cameos in here now. Canon, non-canon, commissioned, not commissioned. There's just everybody's hanging on Zanelli, Hellbent wasn't able to get us an alien when we asked, so that's just, at that point there was just nothing we could do. We were running out of time and we couldn't be like, all right, well, why don't you make an alien? But yeah, so that's what that one was, and I just wanted to point that out. Back to Drug World.
Of the Fung Manzardil. Fung Manzardil are quadrupedal reptiles standing 2 to 3 foot tall and are covered in bioluminescent
these
oil
guys
patches.
are actually one of the first lizards I designed back before and Beyond was even a thing, because I wanted to make more subspecies for Arctiguana in general, because the lore bits that they're subspecies. So I started making aliens, and that's whenever we were like, oh, well, let's do an and Beyond then. So
yeah, they came out really cool. I very much enjoy them. I voiced this little Nemuina coming up, just going like with filters.
Moderately cold-blooded, they love the damp and muggy environment of their gully. Not only because of the temperature, but also for the delicious fungus, including droll caps, hotheads,
Nemuina's
glow grubs,
design,
and many
it's a
more.
really stupid reference, but it's the reference to a character from Kingdom Hearts named PD. I don't know why. I just wanted to make it look like him.
This
I
one?
liked his outfit. Yeah. It's him as a Nemuina. Don't ask me why. I just felt like drawing it. I thought his
Sure.
outfit was cool. Yeah.
And yeah, we do have a hybrid here because and he's
He's dying of heat.
he's drinking. Yeah, he's got that cotton mouth. He didn't realize this was drug world, and he's like, "How did I get here? Get me out!" He's been lost in these mushroom forests for like 4 months now. He just can't get out. He keeps walking in a circle, and he doesn't realize it.
He's just stealing people's drinks.
And then all these mushrooms are, why don't you just get into it?
So these three I did just make up. I wanted them to be funny looking mushrooms. With the thing where it starts popping in, I designed 4 additional mushrooms that were all based off of the actual mushroom Pokemon. So on the right hand side, the one that pops in, that's supposed to be Shroomish and Breloom. That is on the top left is meant to be Morlul and Shiinotic. Okay, that's a dumb one, but there's a Pokemon named Amoonguss, and I didn't want to draw it because it looks just like a regular mushroom and it would be too easy. So I took it as Amoonguss is Among Us. So you've got a bunch of little imposters, kind of like devil's finger fungus, sticking up, and then the main body is one of the bodies cut in half with the bones sticking out.
Oh yeah. That's one of the deaths. Yep.
Oh god.
And then this one, this is the one I recognized, the crab one.
Parasect in Paris, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's all of them.
That's all of them. Then all the others, I just kept.
recolored
I put on a
versions.
hue filter and just kept sliding it ever so slightly every time. This almost crashed my
Such-
computer too.
It's a diverse smorgasbord of spores and boars and more.
Oh yeah, the mushroom eyes.
I love it.
I love whenever
It
we
turned
give
out so
Horus
good.
custom things. Oh yeah, see right here you can see the cutoff line for the spark effects. That's another thing where if my computer wasn't crashing, but you know it's so minuscule. Who cares? But I care. I care. That's who cares. I care. I care. I need a better computer.
Spores and boars and more. Similar to their tropic cousins, they've learned to pack their throat patches with their favorite food. However, in their case, it creates a potent melting pot of a dozen different fungus to make up a powerful hallucinogenic oil.
Now, again, I tried to go real science with some of this stuff. That chemical compound is the actual, like, hallucinogenic mushroom compound, but I, like, tripled it. So it's, like, stronger, which is not how chemicals work, but who cares?
Yeah, I mean we got like a pink sapient rat right here. Possum, sorry. I didn't mean to insult.
How dare you, sir?
We're long gone scientific accuracy. If we can make it work, sure, that's awesome. But like, we're not gonna bind ourselves to it to a point where we're not gonna do something just because it's not scientifically possible. Like,
It's like the movie Weird Science.
yeah, if it sounds like it could be true in that universe, good enough.
No need to hunt, they primarily use this bioluminescent.
Oh, here we go. You know what's coming up?
To make interactive
Oh, God, I
art,
do.
such as the acclaimed artist Salazar Druli.
Oh yeah, we gotta talk
Based
about
off
this
of
first.
Salvador Dali.
Yeah.
Obviously, with the painting thing. I redrew one of his actual real life image. You're steadily panning to it.
I got it in there. Originally I couldn't fit it in there, but I got it in there. Who is this, Ryan? Who is this?
So, unfortunately, that painting on that tree right there is Mauve Riedel. She has an admirer on Zanelli.
I love
That
it.
is a Fung Manzerdil.
You know, everybody needs some love. So Mauve Riedel, she got a pretty provocative drawing of herself by one of her lizard admirers, and you know, yeah, hell yeah, Mauve Riedel, hell yeah,
The chat is just no, God, no, please.
man, all y'all are haters.
Look, I tried to think of things to put on the trees, and I thought that would be a good one. She's like posing very centrally.
Yeah, everyone needs something to help themselves get through life, and you know, erotic posing is Mauve Riedel's. It's her thing, you know. Everyone's got
Plus,
something.
again, we got to fight the child censors without directly cursing or like killing things on screen. So like having those little bits of sexy things.
Oh, without cursing.
Shut up.
At the end.
We have to have at least one just in case.
Yeah. No, I mean, we'll get to that at the end.
Yeah.
I'm sure you all know it. But yeah, like with the 3 trees, again, like my computer was crashing a lot. I can only figure out how to key in 2 trees. But I really wanted to get that in there. So I just moved some stuff around and figured out how to paste it appropriately so that she's there, but it's not like a center focus. But yeah, Mauve Riedel is there.
She's there in essence.
Yeah. I like to think that this was commissioned by Vilgax, this pose.
Ugh.
Because he's still not over her secretly.
Okay.
Of one of these paintings, you can see the art.
Here we go.
And then of course my little boy Love Spit.
Yeah, I voiced him too, by the way.
Oh, you did? I thought you used stock sound effects.
I was trying to, but I just couldn't find any good ones. If you listen to the raw audio, in fact, let me see if I can pull that up.
Radio.
My radio.
Robio.
My Robio. Hold on. I made a marker in the episode. It would be in And Beyond, Lizards, MP3. Would it be an MP3 or would it be a WAV?
I thought it's MP4 now.
Additional voices. What's this?
What's this? What's this?
I'm gonna turn this down. Oh, that's the bird falling down the hill. What's this?
I love your sound effects, dude. They're always so good.
Thank you. That's the
Nemuina.
yeah. And then oh, here it is. Here it is. And then I did it again. Yeah, so that's me. And then I just, throw some filters on it, and then we got...
These paintings, you can see the art truly come to life. In a psychoreactive sense, of course.
It works so well.
Thank you. Yup. We're getting there. Oh, this cameo was the first one I ever drew. The Crazy Vulgars.
Also, when we were like, let's do cameos, and then we started doing this, you were like, wait, so what is the scale of the buildings and stuff? I was like, oh crap.
Yep.
Because we didn't think about doing the cameos till later on, and I made the landscapes too big. So technically, that Crazy Vulgar should look like the size of an ant compared to the buildings. But we wanted them to still be readable, so...
We figured people wouldn't really notice, but honestly, a lot of the sections do that. Like, if you ever look at a building and you look at a door and try to scale it, just pretend it does, It does.
Think of it like the
it's you who are wrong.
Something in a video game. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, this was fun. I also wish I animated them because, like, I had the freaking Kinecelerans, like, sliding down the mud and doing a flip and splashing. But here they're just the elementals. Yeah. It's just, time and thought. Ugh.
Stumbling out of the gully, we wander our way our way to Fire Iron Dunes, a vast desert of iron-enriched obsidian mountains.
So a landscape detail with this, the mountains and everything, those are meant to be like, kind of implying ancient submar that were like massively big.
Oh, I see it. Like the tail here and the head and the back here.
Exactly.
Claw here. Oh, I didn't even know that. That's awesome. Right here is my favorite little cameo thing in this landscape. You can see this is another just fake cameo, just a generic looking green guy with alien looking antennas. Yeah, and a Segmentus Sabian making a much better castle than his just cuz. And this you told me to add. I forgot what it was.
It's a Pokemon. It's Sandagast.
Sandagast. Okay.
I love it. It's a little possessed mound of sand.
I drew a Pokemon. You're welcome, folks.
Rob drew a Pokemon. Everyone clap. Do it.
I drew it.
Obsidian Mountains, and the home of the Torrid
never
Manzardil.
so
Torrid
big.
Manzardil are
Oh, these are great too, because if you notice, Crystal added this little glow to their spikes when they do the thing. I like that.
and the home of the Torrid Manzardil. Torrid
See that?
Manzardil are quadrupedal reptiles
good.
measuring 6 to
Crystals are
7
awesome.
feet long. Cold-blooded, they use the heat from their hypothermos to expectorate flames and superheat their long poker scale fins. Being the second purely
don't know
carnivorous
why I did
species on the
that.
planet, they will use their long body to quickly slither through
That was horrible to figure out. I don't know why, but like trying to make this look good. Like it seems simple now, but that's because I figured out how to do this. Like just making up this technique from the ground up just took me forever. And like the sand sliding on the bottom, I wasn't built for this.
I was gonna draw it as like multiple layers over layers, and I was like,
Nah,
I don't know how that's gonna.
honestly,
work
this
like that.
this would have been better than using the multiple layers. But essentially, it's a fade in, it's a movement. There's a mask that cuts it in half, and then there's a sand texture that I downloaded that does the spread that I warped and then changed to the same color as this background and slid in. And you know, it doesn't. When you look at it like this, it doesn't look that great. But in motion, you know,
quickly slither through
boom,
sand, pursuing
looks pretty good in motion.
Looks
Pretty good in
It does.
motion. That's right. Stop pausing things and slowing them down.
only prey with flammable fur or feathers. These prey specifically because they, quote, burn faster and taste better. Ugh. Because the overall temperature in the desert drops
This
very
is one of my
drastically
favorite
at
bits
night,
to
they will
draw.
bury themselves in sand to sleep.
I love the little
This
shape that
traps
you
their
gave
body
them going
heat
down
in,
to.
Thank
similar
you.
to a
It's such a
ground oven.
nice
They
little
will
detail.
then sleep well into noon to make sure that the terrain is warm before they emerge.
And then
So
we got
if you're
Dad's
taking
squad.
a morning stroll, you may want to watch your step.
And now kiss.
Dude,
Oh, what was that? Hold on. Never mind. I thought I was. Never mind. I'm seeing things.
alright. Seeing lizards.
Oh.
Oh, and
Every time I see that volcano, it's just like I know what's coming.
Dude, the music you picked for
Finally,
this section
we
too
make our
is
way
so
up
good.
Thank
the
you.
sizzling slopes of the Totem Cradle, a tract of
Totem
volcanically cracked terrain that is believed to be the birthplace of all Manzardil, and is
See,
currently the
something
home of
with the landscapes in this episode. This is the first time I tried doing this as like a way to save time in production. I did all of the landscapes lineless because line art takes me the longest with pieces. So I thought if I just did shapes and did shading and texturing, it would have been fine. This is one of the biggest landscapes that I did, not only just actual like framing wise, but file size wise. The second half of the episode I exported as like 8,000 by 7,000 or something like that, and it would take so long to like do a texture in it because my drawing program would lag because of how big the file was. But this one, even though it was the biggest one out of all of them, this entire landscape only took me about an hour to do.
That's nuts. That's
It's insane. I still don't know how I did it.
that's a testament not only to the technique you used, but like your intuition on how this should be designed, because there's a lot of like very interesting choices in the design of this, nonetheless, like the detail and the art style. So conceptually, like that's amazing. Also, I just noticed this. Here's another Manzardil swirl.
Yep.
Yeah. So there's like one or two in every section, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Plus, I forgot to mention this. Kind of a through line from the Mire section going forward. A lot of structures and stuff have like an orange tint to them because the Mire make like a mud cement, kind of like adobo, that the rest of the planet kind of uses with their construction and stuff. Both in the Torrid section and in here, they put a solid layer of that across the ground so that tourists like don't burn themselves stepping on the terrain because of how hot it is.
Yep. Yup.
But the A's.
Slagmanzardil are bipedal reptiles.
Now, design-wise, I really like how unique these are. Like, this is... It's so far removed from Arctiguana, but I can still believe it. They're related. Like, this is some genius level shit, dude. Like, bravo. You could have just, like, made a red Arctiguana, but, like, this is, like, next level.
I refuse.
Yeah.
I didn't want any other lizard to look just like another one. I wanted them all... For instance, when designing them, I did base each of them off of different lizards. I was going to point out which ones through this breakdown, but I honestly can't remember half of them. So I didn't want to do that.
We should have been pointing out the Manzardil cameos too. There's so much in this episode. There's
so much in this episode.
We'll do semi spoiler, not really. We're planning on going through every and Beyond episode eventually. Maybe in like some big like mega stream or like a 2-day stream. We'll try to talk about all the things we didn't talk about here or there. But yeah, more details on that in the future. So we'll get to it. We'll get there. Why is it not playing?
Reptiles standing between 7 to 9 foot tall. Being extremely cold-blooded, they regularly consume large amounts of pumice rock and use the extreme heat from their hypothermos to melt and store the molten rock in their throat pouch. It can then be dispensed as
Yo, fuck that animation, by the way. That was so hard.
I'm so sorry. I thought it was gonna be simple.
It's all good. One thing that actually, I don't know if I should get. Well, I already started talking about it. When I need to rotate something around an axis, it's more useful to put the rotating point in the center of the image, because Premiere, when it rotates an image, it rotates it around its axis. So, for example, if I have this square right here, you see this? Let me make it darker. I had a Sharpie somewhere.
Oh, you're holding a thing on the camera. Okay.
Yeah.
I was looking back and forth. I was like, what?
Are every single one of my Sharpies gone? That's impossible.
Probably. After MomoCon, probably.
Oh, I'm already all packed up for an event this weekend, too. Hold on. I want this to be visible. And now I've already begun talking about this, so I have to complete this thought. I apologize for this tangent. Okay. So, this is the page, right? That X is the center. Oh, thank you, hon.
Okay.
So you drew the lizard, right? And you need its arm to move. So you drew the arm on top of where it should line up in the final result, right? But then when I try to rotate it, it's rotating the arm around like that, rather than rotating around at its point where it needs to turn. You know what I mean?
Oh, yes.
So my options are either to A, go into the image and move it to the center so that it can turn around accurately, or B, just keep doing it would have to keep moving. Like if the arm is here and I want it to move forward, it's going to move forward like this, and then I got to realign the keyframe and then sometimes do it in the middle so that it would accurately swing. Yeah.
Okay.
I felt like I didn't know how to explain or bring that up, but there you go.
That makes sense, because whenever I exported stuff like that, what I used to do with Ambions is that I would export things to where they wouldn't have any space around them. But what I've been doing for the last couple episodes is when I export them, I make sure they're like aligned where they're supposed to start on screen.
Yeah.
So you know exactly where it is. And I did not think about
No, I mean, honestly, I didn't really discover that issue, I think, until the Inur episode. And then from there, I felt like I didn't care enough to bring it up. I'm only bringing it up now just because I felt like, it's time, but...
Have you said the Inur episode?
Yeah.
That was very long ago.
Yeah. I've just been dealing with it, but it's fine. I mean, it's also very useful sometimes when I don't have to animate something. Like, if it doesn't have to have, like, a type of warp, then placing it wherever it should be on the screen is perfect. And yeah, I don't know. Like, maybe, I guess, because you also do a storyboard variant, which if you're a tier 3 patron, you can look at along with every individual asset from this episode, plug right there. If you lined them up where they need to be on screen in the storyboards, then when you export them, whatever point needs to turn, put it on the axis. And then just to, really get in there, like if this is an arm and this is the shoulder and this is the elbow, put the axis point, choose an end, but don't put it in the middle either, because then it's still the same problem.
Okay.
Yeah. What you can even do is have a hidden layer where there's a line perfectly down the canvas and then across, and then turn it on to line up a good axis point, and then turn it off. And then we can talk about this later. Yeah, my bad. Sorry. Editing.
Of various sizes and densities, whether it's for construction.
It's not working.
And densities, whether it's for construction, craftsmanship.
Yay.
Yeah.
Yay.
Luma. I had to. I wanted to. For those who don't watch the Drawing Matrix, we did an episode talking about the 5 whale iterations of them, and they are indeed a married couple now.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say this is probably one of the first times they like actually, because we talk about how they married each other just for like the power play of it and everything, but eventually start liking each other secretly. At this point, they do like each other. They both know it. This is like one of their first ever vacations together.
Yeah.
And like just a fun little time for them. Atea made a little frog thing and is laughing because it looks like her dad. And then Luma's making a fist because she's Luma.
Mm-hmm.
I love them so much from the Drawing Matrix episode. I had to put them in something else.
Yeah, so everything in the Drawing Matrix in that episode is canon to 5YL. And it turns out Alex Jones was right.
Oh my god, damn it. I didn't even... Oh.
Or power
Alright,
generation.
Yeah, so
no,
why are
course.
those plugs on their head and not their collarbones, boy?
Look,
I know.
there's I'm saying it's not a subspecies thing, but like a I guess you could say it's like a race thing between certain individuals. Like they can be on the head or they can be on the collarbone and stuff like
So
that.
we race swapped Ben in 5YL? Is that what you're saying?
I guess. I mean, you're the one. Look, why did you?
I know.
Rob?
Honestly,
I didn't want to start the argument.
to be completely honest, I don't regret it, but I also feel like it was ultimately unnecessary. I did that because ever since Omniverse came out, like a decade ago, whenever I drew feedback, I would just put on the collarbone because it amused me. And then when I did 5YL, the first like 4 or 5 designs were still like based on that design theory, where I would just draw aliens however I would draw them for fun in that continuity. Same with Ghost Freak. Whereas now we have an actual like design language that we use for 5YL aliens. So perhaps I would have done like all the chapter 1 aliens would probably look a little bit different if we designed them now, because they wouldn't be tied to just me fucking around. They'd be tied to the logic of the 5YL universe. Yeah.
These bubbles
Also,
can
look
be
at the baby M. Perry.
Yeah, the baby Imperium. We gotta
I had so much
we
fun
gotta
with
show that off. Look at that little guy. Look at him.
I love drawing like age variants of the aliens.
Yeah.
And just like the baby was so funny.
He's so cute. I love it. I love how he has a mohawk. That's like one of the first things they grow.
Mm-hmm.
extremely
It
useful.
starts as a ball.
This
with a
area
mohawk.
is still very popular with tourists because
okay.
once a week they are known
So
to
this
perform a
ended up
ritualistic
being one of my favorite shots in the entire episode. One, just because the setup of it, but two, every person in this crowd shot is a reference to someone that we've like worked with or are friends with and stuff. So starting from the left going to the right, we have the artist known as Chum, previously a Cyan, who's on the Fusion video with me. Love working with him. Next to him, you have 3 characters making up a reference to Diamond Bolt, because I thought, hey, if I just draw him from behind, people are just going to think it's a dude. So it's got a diamond head and a cannon bolt, too.
Yep.
Next to him in the red hat, of course, is WN, who did the Aeropella ad. He does rap and stuff like that. He wears like a nice polo shirt whenever he does it, so I did that for him. Next to him, we have Jake Neutron and his iteration of Oswald. we're currently working on a collab with Jake. If you want to see more of that ahead of time, join our Patreon.
Yeah.
But we're working with them, so I wanted to do something. Then, of course, we have the main Ink Tank boys. We got Kellen, Hershey, myself, Rob, and Avery. I didn't realize until now, Avery being in the back like that, he probably can't see anything.
He could have. Oh, you know what? It'd be funny if he was like sitting on top of Kellen's like floating dome.
That would have been great.
Yeah. Like right, like
Okay,
like if Kellen was the air scooter and yeah, whatever. Continue.
I want to draw that as a thing in general now. And then the last ones on the right hand side are all of our streaming buddies. We have Ignis with the horns. We have Grandma Grace, who are my IRL friends that we stream with every now and then. Then, of course, we have the moon herself, Crystal. Then we have Action Jack as the slimy boy.
Yep.
We have Drazen, who has been paying my bills forever. And then next to Drazen, we have one of his aliens, Gremlings, or a Tanzaro.
Mm.
But yeah, I want...
I was just gonna say, Action Jack also helped us out with the last 2 chapters of 5YL.
That is true. He did backgrounds and stuff.
Yeah, he did. He did a lot of the cameo dimension stuff. And what did he do? He did one other thing for us. Hold on, I feel like a jerk. I'm just gonna. I think it's on our website. What did he do?
Shout out to everyone though. Like, again, with this being a love letter to the community, I felt like we needed to have cameos of these characters because like they are part of the community and part of the experience, at least with my experience of doing the Ink Tank in general.
He did the planets. He did a bunch of planets and stuff in chapter 5 and 6 recalibrated. That's what it was. Because I was drawing a bunch of planets. I was like, this is taking forever. Jack! And then he was like, I got it.
Jack! What?
Yeah. So that was great. And yeah, then you made me suffer through making this work.
The mouth of the cradle.
This dance is a reference to the dancing dragon from Avatar.
Dancing and releasing thousands of flaming bubbles into the night
Turned
sky.
out so good
Each
looking.
Thank you.
symbolizing a life that the god Manzardil helped create. It is religion.
Yeah, I really like how this came out. I mean, props to you because you gave me like the appropriate amount of frames to do something like this.
I wanted to make sure it was fluid, so I went through and did like in-betweens and made sure to storyboard everything out to a T. Just because I was like, I want this to look fluid. I want it to look nice. This is like one of the final parts of the episode, and it's meant to like have this grandiose feel to it.
Right, and it definitely did. Then honestly, there was a like one or a couple of frames that did look a little weird, but I just covered it with motion blur. Because gotta solve the problems. And then beep.
Manzardil helped create. It is religiously believed that Manzardil himself rests in the base of the totem cradle, hence its name. It is said that he lies slumbering until his children need him the most. Zanelli, a beautiful place to live for sure, and thankfully we had to visit.
All right, thank you guys for tuning into this episode of the And Beyond Breakdown. We have finally reached the ending. I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your week. And that's it. Goodbye.
I legit thought you were gonna end it. I was like, okay.
I looked over at your cam and you were just like...
Make sure you plunge back into the void with me sometime and join me on another extraterrestrial
But wait!
exploration. This is Horace.
There's
signing
more.
off.
Oh, I was so excited.
I
for
redid this like 4 or 5 different times because I just couldn't get it to look right. But I'm happy with the final bada boom.
Bada boom.
And then
It looks really good.
thank you.
What the heck was that?
Oh, okay. So with this, we ended up storyboarding and doing this after finishing the bulk artwork of all the rest of the episode. Something we didn't really realize though is that we didn't find a voice actor for him.
Yep.
So it is me as Adwecha. because we forgot to get someone and ran out of time. So
Yeah.
it's me doing my best John DiMaggio being Sleepy Turtle Man.
Actually, originally, and he doesn't know this, so like, you know, if you bring it up to him, he's not gonna know what we're talking about, because I wanted to ask Xander Mobus to voice him.
Oh yeah.
Because he's doing a lot of our John DiMaggio kind of voices for the motion comic, and he is literally the only person we haven't recorded yet because he's been sick. So I planned on at the end of our session being like, if you would be so kind, would you voice this Turtle Man? And he got sick, and then he had to go to a con, and then he got sick again, and then we were just like, well, now what? So we started looking through our pool of actors, and then the SAG strike happened, and we're just like, yeah.
So I sat watching a video on YouTube that's literally just a compilation of all of Adwaitch's voice lines. I just sat there and like you must be Spellbinder's daughter to actually hurt me. Or not Spellbinder. Yeah, no, Spellbinder's daughter to actually hurt me. And like just practicing for like 2 hours before we did the call. And I was like, oh god.
No, you did a really good job.
Thank you. I was hoping it sounded fine.
Yeah.
I know I saw a comment saying like, yo, whoever did the voice for Adwaitcha really needs to work on their evil laugh. Excuse me. That is how he laughs in the show. He's got this slow, weird laugh, which I get it, because John DiMaggio also does like Agrigor and Volcanus and like so many other evil characters that laugh. So like,
yeah, I was gonna say like the trick with Adwaitcha is he isn't just like a generic like deep growly monstery voice. Like Adwaitcha kind of sounds a little snazzy.
He's got this like twinge. It sounds like he has a bubble in his throat all the time, and he's just kind of
like actually listen to Adwaitcha's voice. Like he really doesn't sound nearly as intimidating as you might be misremembering. Like he does sound like a freaking nerdy ass turtle.
Lame. We tried to make him intimidating, and based off of comments and stuff I saw, people were like, dude, in 2 episodes you did what all of Ultimate Alien couldn't do with Adwaitcha.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes.
I also love this line coming up where he literally says all mana belongs to me, which is what CC was making fun of him saying. Because at first you would just think, oh, she's just making fun of him. And then you watch this and he actually says, and we're like, no, he really does talk like that.
He says it at some point in the show, doesn't he? I'm pretty sure he did.
I don't remember. I already did those breakdowns a year ago. I've already forgotten
That's fair. Go watch the breakdowns.
Korean idol hidden away still.
Premiere can't handle him.
Recreant idol hidden away still.
Oh, and he has some Caladrin assets. I'm only mentioning that specifically because I've seen people have discovered it, but there's still things about this episode folks haven't put together yet. But if it's already been deduced, then we can talk about it. But yes, Addy killed Caladrin in a way. Or would we say kill? Or is it more of like
what happens to the god here is the same thing that happened to Caladrin.
Yeah. It's kind of magic.
We'll talk about it later.
Yeah. Oh man. And this is the most complicated thing I've ever animated in this regard, because he has so many different moving parts. We've never done this before. The hands, each part of the arm, it's all separate layers. You can see he can move, he's talking. The light changes based on what's around him, and that might not be as simple as you may guess to pull off.
No. You made this shot look so good, and I was so surprised at how fluid and the lighting actually it looks so good, my dude.
Thank you.
It just
Yeah, so he's pulling Mr. Lizard out, which, if you notice, he doesn't actually say Manzardil, so, you know, there's another little nugget for you. What does he say right here?
Max is all.
Yeah. So the lizard wakes up, and it sets him free for a second, and he's like, nope, and then secures an even tighter bubble around him. I think that took me like 3 hours.
Hidden away still.
But yeah, he has some Calidron aspects on him because he's been magically sucked.
Max is all. Deserter of the domain. Deity to this lavish planet of bastards.
So good.
I am Arctiguana, and all manna belongs to me. I remit what is rightfully mine from you.
So that was to try to mirror the soul effect that was shown when Charmcaster sucked everyone's souls in the show. So, you know, slurp. And then if you look at him, you can see him shrivel up more and more. You drew me like this really gross dried lizard. So that was fun to use. And then poof. And then this. I was like, let's just layer everything on there. Get it all in there.
Dude, you went so crazy with this shot.
Mine from you, and your wasteful creations.
Oh, yes.
Now this part, what I added in last second while doing the last of the assets, is the lizards and everyone reacting. So of course, left hand side we have Night Owl, Fan and Alien by Kenem. We've got Atea and Luma, which in this shot I would say it quite literally was Atea picked up Luma to protect her.
Yeah.
Or other way around, sorry, my brain's tired. We have Collectimus there, just zaps away.
Yep.
And the audio from this section is actually from Men in Black 2. It's a part where Kay, who has no memory, like pokes his finger into like this orb thing, and it turns out there's an entire planet on the inside of it, and it's the guy starts, all is lost, all is lost. And I just thought it was too perfect to not put in there.
Yeah.
Originally, this guy was gonna be like, our god, Manzerdil, no, what's happening? But I thought that was boring, so.
Yeah, this is more fun. And then if you get the reference, it's like extra funny. And then you got some little guy to the right.
Oh yeah, another little boy.
Yeah, he's cool. I like him.
Thank you.
We'll talk about him someday. But yeah, Collectimus, I think he was the second to last thing I ever put in there, aside from the slingshot thing.
Yeah, I didn't even know you were gonna put him in there. Just having him there and then.
I just thought it'd be
I was
neat
like-
if people will be like, "Whoa, what was that? Was that Collectimus?"
I love it.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, this isn't what I signed up
came
for.
here to pick up a Slag Manzerdil card.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find anything that was cool enough.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there's like lightning and fire raining from the sky and smoke. This
Absolute
thing almost
apocalypse is
crashed my
going
computer
down.
too. Yeah. A couple of
It
people
looks
have
so
asked, does this mean the whole planet is destroyed, or like what's the range of this?
We're not saying right now.
We'll talk. You'll find out in season 2 probably. But for now, just because I know people are gonna ask if we don't outright say it, it's ambiguous.
Let's laugh. Oh, and of course he now has the tail of Maxazol
Yeah.
because he's absorbed.
Yep.
He's also now like 2 to 3 times bigger than he even was.
Yeah, he's like, at first he was like a good like 100 feet or so, right? Like 50 or 100 feet.
I'd say like
Yeah.
100 to 200. Now he's like probably 6 or 7.
Yeah, these are supposed to be skyscrapers. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So he's a
Big boy.
he's a big boy. You know, whatever number works for that. I've always said I don't really care about specific heights. He's just big.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
Yeah,
That's-
he's
that's
big.
it.
He's
Here?
big, man.
Taurus, you need to fly back to Plumber HQ.
Oh, hold on. Are those passing over him? No, okay. I just can't see.
Taurus, you need to fly back to Plumber HQ and get help. I'm stuck planet-bound because my systems are damn totally fucked.
Okay, so that was the last minute addition. When we were recording the audio for this section, I kept trying to do the glitching myself, so he had something to work off of, and I kept messing up. And at one point, I was like, "Damn, God, fuck!" And we're like, "Wait a second, what if we had a horse curse for the first time?"
Yeah.
So, I'm very happy that in the season finale of all episodes, we
Yeah.
finally did it.
Because I remember we had like 2 or 3 instances where we considered Horace swearing, but it always just felt like, no,
out of character.
he's a good boy. He doesn't swear. But like, it's also to try to show the transcendence of Forrest, which we've been calling him Forrest for years, honestly.
Yes. Oh my God. The being able to say it publicly.
Yeah.
is so.
Yeah.
Oh. God,
So
dude.
this is Forrest, spelled spelled 4, the number 4,
Spelled
O-R-U-I. Spelled 4, come on. Yeah, this is Forrest because he is the 4th Horus model. And it's just what we referred to him. We knew that he was going to be a reoccurring character, so we came up with a distinct name for him.
Yeah. It's kind of like with Zscair, we call him Zeke. Adwacha, we call him Addy, and stuff like that.
So it's just kind of what we refer to him. Like, as for now, like if he's like canonically in universe addressed as Forrest, we'll make that a point if it's relevant. But for now, it's sort of like the alternate Ben Tennysons in 5YL. They're not literally called like Ninja Ben, Super Ben, this and that.
Yeah.
And they're just called Ben Tennyson, but we call them that to identify them.
It's a name for the audience.
Yeah. And then we got little sassy little Tauruses. Beep beep.
Apologies, my language filter's broken too.
Yeah. I always love that, like, you can hear Taurus audibly say beep. It's just
It is.
Yeah.
The voice you gave him initially and how it is now. It's so good, man.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's such a like little thing, but god damn it, I love it.
Beep.
Beep.
Hold on. I
Apologies,
gotta
language
hear him
filter's-
say totally fucked again.
You need to fly back to Plumber HQ and get help. I'm stuck planet bound because my systems are damn totally fucked. Apologies, my language filter's broken too, okay?
I love that you had his like eyelids lower too. Like, come on,
Yeah.
There's much more important things happening.
It's like
Plus,
you're...
this one, I think, like the actual line we had.
Oh. Hello? Ryan. Well, hold on. Let me see what I can do about that. Just gonna... Just gonna do this real quick. And let's see if we can resurrect Ryan from his unfortunate passing. We'll miss you, buddy. I'm gonna hang up on him and try calling him back. Join call. Ryan. Alright, I'm gonna call this man.
Hello?
Hey, buddy.
I think my Wi-Fi died. Everything froze and now is not doing anything.
Oh no.
I know.
Adwacha.
It's no. My systems are damaged. Oh god.
Do you think
no,
it'll
like,
come back on, or like is this it for you?
I have no idea. It's literally just let me restart my router real quick.
Okay.
I have no idea what happened. It just died out of nowhere. Are you still live?
Yeah, we're still live. I put you on speaker.
Apologies, everybody. I'm sorry. My Wi-Fi died.
Oh, buddy, it's okay. I'll tell you what. I'll just I can just keep talking about editing stuff and then see if you can come back. But if it turns out you can't come back, we'll just call it.
Gotcha.
Maybe we'll do a bonus end stream to talk about the post-credit scene.
Gotcha.
Yeah. All right. Let me know, buddy.
I'll call you back in like 1 minute.
Sounds good. Yeah, so I might as well break down how I animate Horus. Why not? In fact, let me see if I can just do that right now. Would that be interesting? Let's see. So, y'all are about to get a crash course on animating Horus. Here we go. So basically, what I would need to do is I don't have any of the assets like ready to go to just drag in, sorry. Character frames, Horus frames. So we got his eyes right here. Then we got his pupils right here. And then we got his head. And we'll just start with that. So he has multiple different heads for depending on the position of his mouth. So when I put these in, you can see they change accordingly. And then inside of here, I move around the eye layers when needed. So let's say I go here and let's make a position keyframe. Boom. Now we want him to look down. Boop. It's not moving. Oh, man. Okay, hold on. I realized what happened. This head layer is the entire head layer. It doesn't have the holes in the eyes. I need one that has holes in the eyes. Where is that one? Oh, I remember how I did this. This is before I got really good at streamlining my layers. So it was a whole head to act as a guideline. And then on top of this, I put a layer of just his lenses. I think I made like a simpler version, but that's in the different folder. So we have his rims, his pupils, his eyes and stuff. So we're going to mark his eyes right here. And then we're going to drag him down. Boop. Just like that. So now what we can do is have him look down. That happens way too quick. Let me zoom in so that I know how quick this will be. Boop. Make that even tighter. Boop. Then keyframe that. We can look left. Boop. Keyframe that. And we'll have him default back to forward. Now, having him blink, I also made it more complicated than it needed to be. Because original Horus was built very rudimentary. Whereas now I would probably just make a bunch of stock frames. But essentially what I did was I would take this one lid, I would place it where it needs to go, and I would move it up and down as needed in the positions they are. So it's default a bottom lens. I could flip it around for a top and then move it to the right for a regular one. So if this is a frame, this would be closed. So normally it's 2 frames of start and a close, halfway closed, completely closed, 2 frames of it completely closed, then we reverse it. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, drop a position, count 1, 2, boom, and then this is for when it's closed. Let's go 1 frame earlier. I think it was 4. It's hard to remember. So we're going to start with this frame right here, and you drag it down. So you'll notice that you still see it below, and that's because you need to add a mask layer so that you can trap the lens inside of where it needs to be. But the mask is attached to the position of where the lens is. So even though, yes, it hides it there, once you close it, you'll see the mask follows with the movement. So you make a keyframe where the mask is, and then where the mask should be at the end, and then go back and drag that mask down. Now the mask moves down as the lid moves up, so that it only cuts off the bottom part of the lens that exceeds the outside of the eye. And you do that maybe a little bit quicker. I think it's just 2 frames. Boop. And there's his bottom eyelid blinking. See, you still might need some adjustments. Oh, that's because I didn't duplicate the middle keyframe. Boop. Now what we're going to do is going to drag that out. We're going to take this and we're going to rotate it 180 and reposition all of, let's just delete all these keyframes because we're going to need to redo them all anyways. So we're going to go ahead and delete that mask. We're going to put this right here, right on top as a closed keyframe. You're back, Ryan? What's up, dude? Hey.
I have returned. Apologies.
It's
I
all
don't
good.
know why my Wi-Fi died.
It's all good. I was just animating Horace's eyelid.
Aye, aye, aye.
Aye, aye, aye. Let me see if I can get you back.
I live.
Boom. I almost got Horace to completely blink before you came.
Don't. Okay, cool.
All right. So let's just get back into it, I guess. Oh, I gotta let you see what I'm seeing.
Yes.
Premiere.
I was being frozen in time. It's whatever.
Boom.
Yes, when I'm
Okay.
not connected to the internet, I'm just frozen in time, not to move.
Okay, where did we leave off?
Totally
Oh,
fucked.
right. He was totally fucked.
Apologies, my language filter's broken too, okay? Now, contact Commander Ben 1010 Innocent. He's the only one that can stop Adwacha.
That was so fun.
It just
He gets his little hero moment, and then this one I actually made custom frames for the background to really emphasize him getting electrocuted, because I couldn't get this to look right for the longest time, just based on available stock assets. In fact, you wouldn't even really
so
notice until you
sudden.
pause it. Yeah,
it's so sudden. It
and then
looks so good.
this was the hardest time I've ever had animating Horace, because it's just one shot of him. It's one take, and he needs to emote more than he ever has. Oh, I should probably put this back in the breakdown format. Hold on. Whoops.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
You're good.
There we go.
Nice.
Now you can actually see.
Apologies, my language filter's broken too, okay? Now, contact... Oh. Taurus was destroyed. Not to worry. I can pick up another one when I get back to base. If I get back to base. There's hundreds of them. And hundreds of me. But they're not me. I'm me. I don't want to be destroyed. I don't want to be destroyed.
So one thing about here is the more we get inside of like Forrest's head, the darker and more muted the background becomes. So it's like he's like disconnecting from the world, like metaphorically, so we can really focus on him. Because like with how bright the background and everything is, I felt like you couldn't really focus on him. So it starts getting darker and darker and less saturated. No, Ryan, my darling. Damn. Well, I could just keep talking about the editing for this. And damn. All right. Sorry, bud. I don't know why the universe hates you today, but
Hello?
hello? Are you back? Oh man, I just closed you out and everything. Hold on. You're coming back.
I don't know what the hell's wrong with my Wi-Fi.
One
I'm
more
sorry.
time around the river bend. No, it's all good. I'm so glad I didn't have to do this by myself.
I'm gonna close the stream on my my second window,
Okay.
just in case it's like because I have the chat open and Discord stuff.
Mm-hmm. Purple lightning smells like the scare. It's actually like pink magenta-ish lightning for Adwacha. It's mana lightning.
Man,
Yeah, the purple lightning would look more purple. Well, I don't know. The inert stuff is kind of magenta too, but no, they're different things. Yeah.
I don't want to be destroyed. I don't want to be destroyed. I don't want to die.
So I like that transition where he starts saying the word destroyed, but then as he's
starts
becoming
realizing.
more self-aware, he says die, as if he was a living being. So I think that was a nice little thing. And there's just a lot of stuff flashing in his eyes. There's like you know, they start changing color. You can see my skull at one point because
Of
originally
course.
I wanted a skull and crossbones. I was just like, you know what, just
Let me get in there.
yeah. He's doing a whole bunch of stuff. Then a whole bunch of magic symbols coming up. Well, not magic. They just look magic to me. Honestly, they're just things. Yeah, alien languages. Then he just gets full barcodes, the full ones and
like,
zeros.
It's like Ben from Treasure Planet.
Yeah. And then he just gets stuck and then swirls into the vortex once more.
It looks so good, man. I love how this turned out so much.
Thank you. I love whenever I get to have Horus stretch his neck out too. We don't see that a lot, but he can.
I don't want to be destroyed. I don't want to die. I could die.
Oh boy.
Where'd he go? Where'd he go?
Where'd he go? Horus.
Buy our stuff, buy our stuff, buy
Please,
our stuff,
please
buy our stuff, buy our
Please
stuff, buy our stuff, buy our stuff. Yeah.
Buy our stuff. I love that you cued these to the music.
Thank you. But yeah, for real, we got a cool new poster out. We got a shirt. Then we got a blacklight version, and then yeah, all of our assets and storyboards are available on Patreon tier 3. So you get to mess around if you want to see like any alien in full high quality without effects. You can do that. That way, the voice cast surprisingly low cast, like comparatively. There's a lot of things in here, but it was just us, like all 3 of us. And then, you know, shouting out all the folks, their alien cameos. Honestly, I should have put Crystal in here too, like as an additional editor. I was just trying to get this shit done, man. So Crystal, I'm sorry. I credited you in the description, but I should have put you in the episode. My bad. I'm very sorry about that. And I know credit's a huge deal and everything. So it's not something I'm taking lightly. It's literally just a blunder. I have no excuse for it. I was running on fumes just trying to get it done. So, my B. But you are in the description at least. Oh, post credits. So one thing I was telling Ryan, I'm very happy that I got the water to collide with the ground. So it didn't just look like an overlaid thing. It actually looks like there's depth to the shot.
It looks so good.
That was very hard to pull off.
Oh, I'm functioning.
He's now missing a tentacle.
Yep, now he's missing a tentacle. Every time he accidentally teleports, he gets injured because it's not something that's supposed to happen.
Reboot? And I'm fine? I'm fine. I'm okay.
Yeah, because normally every time Forrest randomly teleports, if you noticed in Sonorosia and this episode, he turns off and then reboots. Whereas this is the first time he accidentally teleported and he didn't have to reboot. So therefore he's alive. Ooh.
I'm fine. I'm okay. I'm alive.
Yes, the Zinelli merch is available right now on our shop. Link below.
Yes.
Wait, is there a link below?
Please. Should be, yes.
Yes, yeah, there's a link below. Please buy it.
Go buy it, please.
But where am I now?
And I messed up here because everything pans up except for Forrest. Again, that was just... Man.
He floats, it's fine.
So is he flying up there too? Because
maybe.
It looks a little bad to me. But whatever. Crab World!
This city took so long to do.
Yes. We were like, this is going to be the last shot in and beyond, probably for a while. So we wanted
to make sure it was juicy.
Yeah, there's like 7 different moving layers. Even the moons, if you look, slightly move at different depths. There's like electricity going off the buildings and stuff. We got flying. I specifically requested these. Ryan drew them, but I was
Flying
just like,
crabs.
man, we gotta have some little crabs cruising around in there.
They look so cool. I love them.
Yeah. Honestly, it's a great design too.
Thank you.
Because I just sent you a picture of George Jetson's car and said, can you make a brainstorm version of this? And
I just wanted to... The way I imagined it was the... you know, back in the original series, how with the merch they had the vehicle toys.
Yeah.
I tried to do one of those, but like as a brainstorm thing is what I was going for.
I think you succeeded, and there's a lot of intricate building designs here too.
So much.
It's so good, and like people should really. I was hesitant to put this after the credits, to be honest, because I was afraid people would just X out of the video here and not see this. But I also
Right.
felt we needed that breather between him, because I feel like if on screen you see him disappear and then immediately reappear, even though like chronologically in universe that's what happens, it doesn't have the same impact. So for those that X out of our videos during the credits, you fucked up.
You done goofed, my
yeah.
dudes. You missed out.
Yeah.
You could know what the next Stand Beyond is, and now you're just commenting, oh, what's the next one?
And I remember fighting you to put, and I use the term loosely on screen.
Yeah. Okay, so what it was originally the argument was that I wanted to get a voice actor for it because like I thought it being spoken makes more sense. But like I in my brain I still feel a little bit having it as text is a little weird because is he typing that out? Does he type that out in like his emails?
Is he? Is he?
I don't know.
I just figured, let's just do it, and then it'll hype people up. They're not.
It works.
They might think that deeply about it later, but like in the episode when it's your first time viewing and you see that pop up, they're gonna be like, "Yo!" And that's, that's not always my motivation for doing things, but with something like an end title card, sure, yeah,
Make it hype.
yeah,
Gotta
and
get
then
that hype.
Forest, the first on-screen addressment that's, and I made the 4 a different color too, so folks wouldn't think it's a typo. Like it's intentionally Forest. Yeah. So there we go, and then now some rigatone.
Yeah, I was surprised that you had this is the outro music. I thought you were just gonna like continue the chill vibe of like the crab world, but not just dun 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 dun. Dun. Oh,
I don't know. We needed to end on a good note. It's a celebration.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. So
Everyone has their mushrooms.
Yup. That's right. That's especially right. Yeah, so that was quite the episode. It's a season finale. It's a celebration. And yeah, I am very happy with how this came out.
I can't express how happy I am with how it came out. Like just oh gosh. It's this has been a damn journey making And Beyond season 1. Like because originally when it was just the concept of like the Atomics video, we were gonna do these every other month, and it has snowballed into
right.
Oh my god, it's so much more than I ever expected.
And
If
like
you were
we
to
said,
ask
like
me-
we're sorry. Continue.
No, I was just gonna, if you were to ask me 3 years ago, what I thought And Beyond was gonna be like, I would not have guessed like this at all.
No, me neither. Yeah, and I was just gonna build off of that. Like, we definitely are interested in going back to our roots and doing simpler episodes. But as the polls have proven to us, these are worth it. So, I totally understand. And like, we want to cover planets and still have the freedom to do episodes that aren't part of the Zascarid Wacha plot, and we're going to. But the series has grown into this, and at least for me, I feel like it's all good. Like, it's all good things. It's all positive things. It's worth it. It's worth the time. And to do more things like that, that's another reason why we're switching to bi-weekly uploads. Like, if y'all want more of this, we can't give you weekly content and do big projects and expect both of them to come out in a timely manner.
Yeah.
So, despite our lack of frequent uploads, you're going to get stuff like this more frequently, which I think is worth it. So yeah, that was And Beyond finale. Do you have any closing thoughts?
Just again, thank you to everyone that has watched and stuck with us and supported us all this time. It means not the world, the universe to me. And it's incredible. And thank you for loving Horus in general. I was so nervous with episode 1 when people were like, a robot voice filter for the host? Ugh, what the hell is this thing? And now people love him to the point that we have plushies and people want us to make more of him.
He's
So,
pretty
like,
much the ink tank mascot at this point. Like, I feel like he's outgrown just being part of and beyond. Like, he's an iconic part of the ink tank, and I feel like in the inevitable future where we are done with and beyond, however far down the line that is, Horace is still going to live on in some way. As much as shit we give him, like, I know you have your frustrations voicing him and I have my frustrations animating him, the results always make it worth it. People love Horace, and I love seeing it finished. So, thank you, Ryan, for making him and putting in the effort to muster up that voice for hours on end whenever we have to do an episode.
And thank you for tirelessly animating him and giving him life, literally giving him life, man.
Thanks, dude. Oh, this has been great. But yeah, check out the full episode again if you want to see it without our 3 hours of commentary, or watch this again, if you enjoyed it. If you have any more questions, feel free to throw them in the comments. We'll probably be checking this for a few days. And until then, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your weekend.
Wait a second.
Oh.
We have to close this one out, though.
This is Horace, signing out.